by popular demand. The people requested it. We don't want that biased content. We don't want that walking on eggshells, nothing like that. If someone is trash, it has to be said. If someone is godlike, they need to be propped up to the heavens like they deserve. And that is exactly what you get here on No Neutral. I can't believe we are back for season 2. My partner in crime, the top influencer in the game, Brian F., what's going on with you, bro? I miss you.
What do you mean we can't be back? You thought they were going to take us off the air like that? You thought we were done for?
Come on, bro.
The people needed it. The people needed it. Listen, you know we're in this because we love the game. We love Street Fighter V, and we're back for another season of CPT action. And of course, we're the pre-show, baby. We got a big tournament coming up today. But before we get into talking about everything CPT related, as we always do, we got to give a big shout out to all of our Japanese fans and commentators for tuning into No Neutral. And thank you so much for supporting the show. That said, new season, new gameplay, new characters, new competitors, maybe new champions this season. I actually expect a lot of new champions this season. We got a whole new format coming, and we still have the online events. We still have the big CPT events going on. But that said, before we get into all that, let's look back at a great year, the 2021 season. I mean, I think a lot of people weren't too sure how it would all turn out with the online format with everything. But I think at the end of the season, we got to see a lot of talent. We got to see some familiar faces. And I think a lot of people were surprised by the level of the gameplay all over the world. I feel like that's one of the biggest things about the 2021 season was that I think not only my eyes were open, I think the community's eyes were open, that the level of play all over the world is far greater than we originally assumed. And I guess we got to look back. What's some of your favorite moments, Rob? What do you want to get started with?
You talk about the fact that there's like all kinds of new regions that are godlike, right? But where I actually want to start is a region that has always dominated, but a player that has not always dominated. The standout player, I would say, from all of last season worldwide, the breakout year, was, of course, Kawano with that Colleen. I mean, oh my goodness, bro. Like, I personally love to see the underdog come out on top unless it's up against me. I personally love to see hierarchies being broken down, and in the FGC, I always love to talk about the fact that, or at least I hate the fact that it even exists. People love to just hold on to stuff of the past. Oh, but it's Daigo. Oh, but it's Tokido, and he's so good. And yeah, those guys are good and everything. But did Kawano give a damn? I think not. Nooched him up, V-triggered him up, EX Vanity Step, you name it. My guy came in and put in all kinds of work. He completely changed the narrative from beginning to end. Like, could you really say there was a player last year that you could openly say for sure was better than Kawano in the world?
No. I mean, he was the most dominant player in Japan. I mean, the only thing was, I guess his road to qualify for CPT was the only thing that was a little shaky, right? He had to come in at the finish line. But that said, because Daigo qualified over Kawano, right? That was the big kind of story leading up to this. It's like, okay, Kawano, you're doing work. But Daigo, he got his CPT qualification over you. I mean, that's the goal. Like you mentioned, there's a lot of history. People like the history and the legacy of the players in the FGC. So I feel like for him to not only finally qualify, get that doubt out of the way, because he had the most dominant performance outside of CPT leading up to that, to go into the season finals and to win the way he did. First of all, he won 5-3 over Daigo.
That was crazy.
But
it looked like it was about to be a 5-0 though.
It should have been 5-0.
That should have been 50.
It should have been 5-0. He did have a few moments where he had those drops where you're like, oh no, don't give Daigo an inch. You know what I'm saying? Like, because Daigo's about to take a mile. He had those moments where it could have been 5-0, but he managed to stay strong and close out against the beast. So yeah, I don't think anyone can really argue, at least from the Japanese scene.
Even him qualifying though, remember who he beat to qualify?
Tokido, who once again, I think everyone who kind of took Kawano to that limit, got the win over him. He eventually had his comeuppance. Tokido's beat him, and what is the event called that Daigo puts on?
Kimono Michi.
He beat him, right? Tokido said, "Oh, if you think you're ready to play me, you have not grasped the severity of the situation."
You don't even know what you're getting into, bro.
Well, maybe not then, but come that CPT, that when it all mattered at the end, Tokido's not the one we saw in the season finals, right? He did not qualify that year as Kawano who took it over Daigo. So that's obviously like the big story out of Japan, and I don't see it slowing down, even though Colleen has many changes. She's a little different this season. I feel like we're going to see lots from Kiwano still. I mean, the way he's broken down the game and approaches it,
it's deeper than a character.
Right. He knows how to play. He knows how to learn to play the game. Like the way he's progressed so fast and to such an extreme consistent level. I'm confident that no matter what changes may come, he'll be able to pick it up and learn how to play the meta going forward. But that's just Japan, though. There's a lot of regions in here. I want to talk a bit about one of my favorite storylines, which I brought up many times in the last season of No Neutral. Kusanagi, man. Yes, Kusanagi coming out of Mexico. He's one of those players who I love to watch, but I would never, ever want to play in tournament because his offense, it shakes me to my core just watching it. I'm shaking in my boots when I watch him dance around with that Sakura. The way he understands how to play the momentum game, the risk reward, to challenge the buttons, to abuse the walk speed.
Risk reward, brother. He was risking retirement in that last CPT event, bro. I had to put it out there for him. Like, in the end of the day, Big Hollywood was going to have to pull some strings, do whatever I could. Because if he got second place yet again,
that would have been the fourth time? That would have been the fourth time, I believe, getting second place about to qualify. Because in 2020, he got second place twice. I think he lost to the Dominican players each time to Mena and to Kaba. And then this time he had the separate regions, so it's mostly Mexico and the Central American countries. Closer to his region in this event, and he got second, I believe, to Gamma in the first one, and then he had to actually finally qualify in the final event. 4-time second place, that would have been too heartbreaking for any man to stand. Like, that's too many times rough, bro. Getting that number 2 to be so close to qualify for Capcom Cup. It would give him a complex. It's a complex at that point. You know what I mean? Like, I could never get first. It would be psychologically damaging.
We can't bring up people beating our favorite players without bringing up another one of the most amazing storylines of last year, Mr. Crimson. But I love when someone comes in with the confidence to not need to be buddy with everyone. I really feel like, I've always said, when people lose against certain players, they feel like, oh, of course I lost. If somebody lose to Tokido or Punk or something like that, they feel like, it's okay, I'm losing to these great players. But when they lose to someone they don't look at as that tier, that's when they say, oh, I need to hit the lab, I need to improve. Mr. Crimson never had that weak mentality. Bro, I promise if more people embrace the mentality that he has, where he feels like he's supposed to beat those dudes and he's supposed to bump heads with them, like we've seen with like Punk and Mr. Crimson at Red Bull Kumite or Street Fighter League and so many other elite players in the world, bro, then more people will come up. He easily had one of the best stories of last year.
Oh yeah, I mean, he was smoking everybody for a while, getting the win in Red Bull Kumite, and then they had the exhibition at Street Fighter League. He had the win over Idom. He also won. He beat both Idom and Punk at the Red Bull Kumite, and repeated that at the Street Fighter League exhibition and in the Street Fighter League matches against Punk. Yeah. So he was kind of like the big talk of the town in the first half of the season for sure. But yeah, Mr. Crimson had an amazing year, and I guess it was one we weren't expecting, is what made it so like riveting, right? Like, he's always been good. And I always bring up he was the first person to ever win a CPT event, season 1, with Laura, back ancient history at this point, right? But he hadn't really played at the level of like a Capcom Cup champion. But this season, we saw it. We saw someone who was a contender to be the best in the world. And he delivered many times. So I'm hoping to see more from him. I think we will. I think he's adding a bit more variety to his arsenal too. I've been seeing the G, been seeing the Luke, of course. So I feel like we're going to be seeing more Mr. Crimson this year. That's going to be my bet.
Dog, and then, when you talk about stuff that we're going to be seeing more of course, we're going to see more of this amazing rivalry. The best rivalry in Street Fighter, Punk and Idom. And when I bring up as far as the storyline from last year, I want to specifically focus on Punk, man. Because if you remember, we had a conversation on here on No Neutral, bro, before they had the first NA East #1. And I had to put it out there. Punk is a friend of mine, like a personal homie. But I had to keep it a buck in the end of the day and say, yo, I don't know how clutch Punk the God is, man. I think that his nooch is 10 out of 10. I think that he's amazing, trash talking, all that. There's so many characters that he plays. But I don't know about his character when it comes to that big moments. I've seen him falter a few times. But what does he do? Goes up against Idom. He was getting smoked. He was getting mollywomped at the beginning. But like a true champion, he fights back and then pops off. Who ain't clutch? I'm the definition of clutch. I think he had Mama Punk in there and everything. Man had the whole family. I think the family dog and all that pretty much was popping off on no neutral. I felt like that was straight disrespect to me. But you have to respect it because he proved me wrong. So I have to give my man his flowers, bro. My man clutched out right there. I can't say that going into this season.
And Punk, the thing about Punk is you gave him the fuel to win. Like that, he thrives in that environment. I feel like if he doesn't have any like doubters or haters behind him when he goes into an event, I feel like that's when he gets, he rests on his laurels a little bit and there's no motivation. But he really loves that environment where he has stakes, like social stakes to lose, where people are doubting him. I mean, he's definitely the guy to instantly money match $500 or more in any kind of any game, really. It doesn't matter if someone's questioning his skills in some kind of way. That's what hypes him up and gets him going. So I don't know, maybe if we didn't have that episode when he was down in that set, would he have found that fire, that drive to prove us wrong? I don't know. On the other side of that, I do want to talk a bit about IDOM and I mean, why is that even a rivalry? I mean, Punk's Punk, but IDOM's just a god, right? Like, IDOM is just so good. Like there's nothing to really say about it. Yeah, Punk to God, IDOM to machine, right? IDOM is just this whole season, since late 2017, early 2018. I feel like since that time period, people finally started to recognize, at least us in the US, recognize pretty early on, like this guy is definitely the next thing in the American FGC. And he's been doing it all 2021 season. I mean, he barely lost to Punk in that first qualifying event for the East Coast. But of course, come event number 2, we were looking to Art to like maybe make the upset. He was the one guy giving him trouble with Dawson here and there, because he won a few locals, right? But then when it comes time for CPT qualification,
he did him dirty.
Yeah, I mean, the pecking order was quickly restored, right? Shout out to Rushdown for getting second in that one. He was kind of the black horse of the whole event, right? But it did not work. No. That grand finals, IDOM kind of speed ran again.
Bro,
I mean, I don't blame him.
And everything, like, nah.
Woo, demonstrating the firepower that Poison has and the strategist that IDOM is for picking the correct tool for the job. Yeah. So definitely one of the best rivalries we've seen in Street Fighter V, and I hope to see it continue. We'll see what's coming up in this event, and there's only one qualification per region in these online tournaments.
Oh yeah, so
there's only one.
Talking about last year and everything, of course, those amazing storylines, but in the end of the day, now it is 2022, so we're looking forward to the future. And now, as you just alluded to right there, it's a whole new format, bro. Going into the final year, the final season of Street Fighter V, kind of makes me want to cry a bit, man, just hearing that, because
it's been quite a journey.
This is really like my first game where I actually traveled for and whatnot, bro. So it's weird to see that it's coming to an end. But yeah, the new changes, 19 online events we've already heard. And only one, of course, when we were playing these before, it was 2 of them, so you had less pressure on that first event at least. Right. Now, the clutch factor is gonna need to be crazy, and whoever gets second place, can you imagine getting second place at this one? Bruh.
Ooh, I mean, some regions were already facing that, right? So, like last season, it depended on the region, right? Some regions had 1 event, some had 2, and then Japan had 4. But this time, they've evened it up, man. It's just 1 per region, and of course, there's still the prize money for the tournament. But as a competitor, that second place money it's no consolation prize, man. You want that Capcom Cup spot. You want to get that victory. Yeah. So there's going to be a lot of heartbreak this season from those online events for sure, because I mean, we already saw it with like Angry Bird and Big Bird and the Middle East region. It's like, oh, come on, you got to flip a coin to pick one of those 2 people to be in Capcom Cup. And in a just world, I feel like they would always both be in there. The level of play they bring to the table is phenomenal. But bro, this year, let's imagine it.
Japan with 1 online event, bro.
Oh my
Japan, bro! I think last season they had what 6 or 5 or something, 4.
They had ridiculous. 4, but yeah, and every top 8 was different, right? Like that's the thing about it. The level of play is like it's just such a dense player pool in Japan. I think there was a couple that had a few repeat top 8s. I think John Takeuchi was there, but like he was cracking like a 5th place a couple times. But for the most part, like the top 8s were different. Almost every event, there was very little overlap.
How deep that is, bro.
And it's 1 shot. It's a brutal format. I'm gonna be honest. It's brutal.
But it's the thing though. We only brought up one part of it so far. It's 1 shot for the online events.
Correct.
But there's also some offline. We don't have full clarity on that yet, but we have been told that we actually have some offline opportunities to qualify for Capcom Cup this year, as we had back in the 2019 and prior. So that is huge. And there's also the World Warrior program, which we don't have a whole lot of details on yet, but I'm definitely interested to see, like, you know, how qualification goes through that system. But the way that it's divvied up now, every online region having one event. Beautiful, because I ain't gotta hear nobody cry. I ain't gotta hear no complaining. Now you got some offline. I don't give a damn if it's one offline event. I don't care. I don't want no excuses at all this year. Please, everybody, stop crying. At this point, if you that nice, just go ahead and win, because you're so good. You're so good and elite that if you only were offline, you wouldn't have missed that hit confirm. You would have anti-aired that. You actually tech that throw. I can't wait to see it. So this season is gonna be, I would say, I mean, by default, it's gonna be probably even more exciting than last season was, just because of how varied everything is. You know, so at this point, I don't think we can really, you know, we don't really have to have any debate or question about who's the nicest here, who's the nicest there. It's gonna be right there out in front of us, bro.
You know, we're first forced to online only. Like, a lot of online locals stepped up and helped carry the community, kept people sharp leading up to the major events.
NLVC, Brian.
Shout out to NLVC. Brian. Oh man. A lot of memories, a lot of good times in NLVC, you know, but also there's events all over the world too, and a lot of different regions have their own online organizers who've been getting people to play, and I think they're great practice. You know, shout out to NLBC, of course. I feel like NLBC made me a stronger player through and through. Same. I feel like these online tournaments have been amazing training. I know people have been hating on them for a while, but man, at this point, like, if you cannot see the value that they add, like, I don't know what to tell you. You just might not want to play the game. That's how I feel. I love playing these online events. I have so much fun.
As we've gotten stronger, bro, there's so many people who I feel like were not on people's radar as far as,
and they're
like,
that nice,
legitimate threats, and they're godlike, bro.
Yeah.
And now people actually understand that, like the Space Boys of the world, for example.
No need to talk.
No need to talk, right? When he went offline, you know, people you only see him online at first. But then he went offline, so I want to say NEC, and was it KIT?
Yeah, I think he won both.
Won both of the events. There were players there offline that you've known for years, and you know, more Twitter followers and all that, bro. That's the dope thing with fighting games. None of that matter in the grand scheme of things. None of that matter when you sit down and grab that controller. Open bracket, anybody go up there and show what you made of, and no need to talk. He showed us that there was no need to talk. Man was about his action. And I really believe that players like that are going to shine this year, because, you know, Brian, like, it's different after your first year kind of getting out there, traveling and stuff, getting your name up, playing these high pressure situations. It's more difficult, but eventually that gets a lot more normal to you. You get some more veteran tricks of the trade and things like that. So now I don't think that a lot of these players will even have that little bit of fear in their heart that they had before. They're going to have a whole lot more confidence. So I actually think I don't know what you think about this, but I think the results might actually be shaking up some this year.
Well, I feel like when you put it that way, I feel like the established players are the ones shaking their boots, right? The pressure's on. You got one chance to qualify. This is like anyone who's hungry for the opportunity. It's there for the taking. You know, like, this is it. It's not like in previous years, if you did good at one ranking event, you know, like, great, good for you. But now you got to do the world tour and keep it up, kiddo. You know, like, good job. But you got to travel, see you at the weekend office, you know, in this part of the planet, and keep racking up those points. No, if you're good that one day, that's it. You qualify. So I feel like, if anything, it's those players' time to shine. The people who have been putting in the work online, kind of behind the scenes. Okay, you're making predictions. I feel like there will be some shakeups, but I have some hard predictions about some places too.
Really? You got some hard predictions?
I mean, we're leading into the West Coast, so.
I know you're not predicting Japan. Oh yeah, West Coast.
Japan, I can't call.
That's an interesting one. As far as the West Coast, dang, that's tough.
I mean, to me, my prediction, not just for this CPT, but for all of America, Chris CCH is America's last hope. That's what I think.
What do you mean by that?
I think he's the guy. I think he's the guy who's on the come up right now.
Bruh, there's a difference between that and America's last hope. So let me understand. I'm trying to pick up what you're putting. I see you said that. Hold up. I'm trying to pick up what you're putting down, but actually it's kind of heavy like Thor's hammer.
I think
What
going into
exactly do you mean here?
Evo, I think going into Evo, he's the right guy to put the money on to go the furthest.
Brian, it's the first episode of the season 2 when you said something stupid already. That makes no sense whatsoever. Now, can I see it happening? I guess, but
So it makes sense.
Listen, but it doesn't though, because in the end of the day, I feel like, you know, to say that you got money on him making it the furthest, even over, let's take the big Hollywoods aside, because some people will say that I'm biased or whatever. But the add-ons, the pump, the gizzies, that's crazy. To say you think that he's gonna do a lot better this year, he has a chance. But
I think
favorite,
he has a chance.
I'm going to have to. You know what?
Actually,
I'm gonna have to take that bet. Nah,
Adam has poison. Adam has poison. So, to me, it's all about the matchups right now, and that's why I believe in Chris CCH.
I understand that. So I'm guessing you think Chris CCH is gonna win this West Coast event too.
Oh,
you must be thinking that too.
Yeah, he better. He better not lose the Luke mirror. That's all I'm saying. He better.
Who might play the Luke with him? Let me think.
Samurai. West Coast is prepping for the meta.
Samurai's looped up. Yeah.
And nephew on the low is all. I don't know if I don't think he's there yet with the Luke, but he's been working on it. To me, that's my one hot take. We'll see if it pans out. I just think he hit the ground running with the right spirit. I like what I'm seeing, and yeah.
Okay, I would like to bet. I would like to bet you. You know, I already got a bounty out for anyone who doesn't know. There's already a bounty on Chris CCH's head in this tournament. You know what I'm saying? There is something that the fans can take to the bank, something that they can bet on with 100% certainty, and that is the fact that they can now register for CPT Ireland and UK, as well as France, Spain, and Portugal. You can head on over to CapcomProTour.com for more details.
And you don't have to just take my fight money to the bank. You know, these players they're playing for some real money. But in addition to the prize pool for each CPT event, the qualifying player will actually be unlocking a unique tracksuit costume for their character that will be available in the game for everybody to enjoy. So it gives you an extra reason to cheer for your event and to immortalize yourself in the history of Street Fighter V. So be sure to enter and play your heart out to win.
And as far as playing your heart out, Brian, that's exactly what we are about to see coming up next. You know, Brian, last year, I remember, I felt like it was like the resurgence of the West Coast. Always been an amazing region, always been legendary, but there was like an extra fire lit up under them. But now, they're all on the map again. Now they're cooking up, and this is where they soar. Ladies and gentlemen, this is about to be a show. It will be a bloodbath. It is time for Top 16 of North America West. Number 1, take it away. Oh my God.
All riders have to strike out on their own.
Let's do this.
If I go too far, please forgive me.
Capcom Pro Tour of 2022 is now here. We've been waiting for a year to see how it plays out for the final year of Street Fighter V. My name is Vicious, here with James Chen to deliver all of the action that we've been looking forward to, starting things off with a banger. North America West, one of the hottest regions in North America right now, because there's a lot of people taking a look at what's been going on in the Twitterverse specifically, right? We just had No Neutral coming back to us, Rob TV and Brian F. We've been speculating a little bit about who's going to be the golden players of the West Coast and see who would take it down. Brian had his speculations and Rob TV definitely had his as well. James, before we even get into it, I've been kind of going in already. I got to ask you, man, how do you feel coming back into it for the CPT of 2022?
Look, I mean, before we even get into this region here, look, last year when the season started, we were talking about how much we were enjoying the state of the game and how the balance felt really good and the characters were like all pretty strong and everything like that. And then Capcom, they hit us with a dragon punch, dude. They hit us with a DP. They hit us with the definitive patch. And they came out with you wouldn't expect the final patch notes to be like 19,000 pages long. That was just the changes to Urian's headbutt, to his EX headbutt.
Oh, not only that, but it was also the buff they gave to Alex. They actually made him a pretty scary
Alex
character.
is going to be a problem, but it's so cool. Like, honestly, like, as much as I really honestly did like the state of Street Fighter V, this definitive edition here, I feel like has really taken this game for a loop. And it is, I love the fact that all the characters have so many combo paths opened up. There's like a lot more room for the
consistent damage for everybody now. You were talking about it. We actually all have been talking about it for quite some time now. Every time you do a patch, it's always cool to see everybody get buffed, right? Kind of equalize the playing field. I'd love to see that more often in fighting games in general, but the way that they did it with Street Fighter V has been phenomenal. I loved seeing the change-ups we've been seeing throughout every single player, even internationally, James. Like, just for an example, I've been seeing Tokido mess around with Alex more frequently.
Whoa, really?
Yes. So that's just an example. Right?
I mean, look, obviously, the one character that's on everybody's lips, the one that everybody is talking about, is still Luke, right? A character who got a few small nerfs in the patch, but a lot of people at the end of the season last year felt like Luke was, heads and above the best character. But, honestly, if you think that like these other characters can't stand up to Luke right now, I think that you're mistaken. You might be in for a surprise because, again, some of these characters are going to get so much juice, and even in the fact, like, for example, I mean, spoilers here on some of the players that are here, right? I mean, last year, I don't remember seeing an Ibuki anywhere.
Not ever. Not ever.
Right? And already here, we have two Ibukis in the top 8. Now, both of them are in the loser side of the bracket, but, I mean, if you look at the winner side, I mean, this is like a who's who of North America West.
And we'll get into that just a little bit, right? We're talking about North America West to start things off, but in fact, the CPT is going to be hitting 19 qualifiers for the online events, right? We actually have a lot of these events going forward to see who will qualify for Capcom Cup, and whoever wins it pretty much gets that straight shot into the cup itself, rather than going through like a qualifying process. In terms of like gaining points, it's just straight up whoever wins it will be going into the cup.
It's hard, too, because last year a lot of the regions got 2 qualifiers. This year, a lot of those regions only have one chance. You only get one shot. So it is going to be a lot more stressful for a lot of these players. But this is a great way to close out Street Fighter V. Obviously they announced at the Capcom Cup Street Fighter VI coming out, although we don't know much more outside of Ryu, Luke, and Ryu's feet looking very
don't talk about that right now. But I do want to say that other than the online events that we've been talking about just now and what we're about to go through, there are going to be a couple more events and ways to qualify further down the line. If you guys want to go to CapcomProTour.com to check it all out, even check out the schedule for the online events as well. It's CapcomProTour.com/schedule to check out all of the information going forward. And in the future, you guys want to keep up with it because you're going to see some of your favorite players, you're going to see some of your favorite regions, even discover new ones, and as well as find a way to participate yourself.
Exactly. And speaking of favorite regions here, obviously this is our home court over here, NA West. We are very excited, and during No Neutral, the talk was Chris CCH, right? This is a player who has easily in 2021 probably been the player who has made the most significant leap in terms of, like, they talked about Kuano. We all knew Kuano was that strong,
Phenomenal.
right? So Chris CCH, we all knew he was capable. But last year, I feel like was the year that he showed that potential, that he actually lived up to that potential.
Very similar trajectories as well, right? You see the exponential growth from both players. Kawano had a very explosive year back in 2018. He started to grind out more and see himself on the grand stages a lot more often. Chris CCH kind of did the same thing. He was kind of in hiding for a little bit. He was winning a couple of events. He did like Geico events. He does Red Bull events as well.
Right.
There was the Intel World Open that he did last year, where he had an explosive performance against a lot of the cats on the west side. So again, he's definitely on the come up right now. I think he's just about to be, I mean, there's a lot of pressure on him right now. I think he's definitely one of the GOATs right now for the West Coast.
And then Rob put a bounty on his head.
I just gotta say it right now. I gotta say it right now. You know, I know you guys have been following along on social media in terms of what's been going on with Street Fighter V. I gotta see the West Coast versus the Midwest happen.
Dude,
I want to see
look,
Rob TV throw down with the rest of them too. I saw the videos from both ends, and I'm like, you know, now I gotta see it.
Like,
I have to see it happen.
I'm really sad because our first match is Chris CCH versus Filipino Man.
And you know
but
what?
I want to say this about
Man.
Filipino Man, though, but what a great job. I mean, because honestly, even last year, even I was starting to doubt a little bit of the West Coast. You know, I was just like, you know, who are our players? And Filipino Man, you know, having this call out and being like, look, we've got plenty of great players out here. And like I said, you look at this top 16, Chris CCH, Filipino Man, Flaquito, Mortzi, Nephew, Danka Diaz, XSK, and JB. I mean,
Battle
that
of the
is-
acronyms down
Yeah,
below.
yeah, I know, right?
All right.
Only 5 letters for the. I mean,
That's
it's
so
funny
cool.
how Samurai went from XSK Samurai to Samurai, and now he's just
Yeah,
XSK.
he's back, yeah.
I'm confused, but regardless, I mean, that is a who's who of the West Coast right now, and yeah, the eyes are probably on Chris CCH at this point. I
I
mean,
think in the top 3, honestly, you see Chris CCH, Filipino Man, and Flaquito. They were all in the same video.
Yeah.
Most people, man, when we get to it, we will definitely talk about Flaquito and Morty in their matchup. We will highlight both players, but we will also talk about how, you know, how sneaky they can be and how strong and powerful they actually are. And of course, you see Nephew and Danka Diaz and then XSK versus JB. There's so much to go through, but let's take a look at the loser side as well, right? In the top
Right.
16, Prototype versus Cuz Lightyear. That's going to be pretty interesting because they both have characters that have been significantly buffed.
right. Well, that's one of the Ibuki players, Cuz Lightyear, and then Prototype with Alex, who just like, oh my goodness, you look at what Alex did, and I had trouble with Alex when he was a bad character.
Shout outs to Tasty Steve. Shout outs to Tasty Steve.
There's no way
Yeah.
I'm beating this character
And then
anymore.
You have Matoha versus Upchain. That's going to be Balrog versus Birdie. Hylex versus White Gun. That's going to be a battle of the ages, I feel like. Battle of the generations, really. Alex Myers versus Jot down below as well. Some familiar faces, very familiar faces at that. So it's going to be a very explosive top 16 today. This entire weekend, actually.
Yeah, it's going to be really great. And again, I mean, I feel like, you know, all the players, I almost kind of feel like all their chains have been let go. I mean, what is it, the Naruto meme where he drops the weights or whatever it's from. I don't know anime.
It was Rock Lee
Rock
during the
Lee.
tuning exams
Okay.
against Gara.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure. I'm not an anime person. Okay, everyone out there is mad at me right now, but
I got
you know.
you. Don't worry.
But it's like that with this patch. Honestly, I feel like all the players out there have let the weights off now.
Yes.
They are free to go
The
and do
limiters are
whatever
gone.
they want. Yes, that's right.
Yeah, I know. I can't wait to see it, to be honest with you. And it's going to go
That
down
was
in a
when he
way.
was fighting Goku and fighting, and then JoJo came in and no, I'm just kidding.
What? You just threw me off big time. You hella just threw me off. What are we doing again? Okay, so anyway, we were talking about the West Coast. Right?
Yes.
We do have our first matchup ahead of us. It's going to be Chris CCH versus Filipino Man. This is pretty much a tale. This is the sweetest photo, I got to say, from both, right? Chris CCH, stand-up guy, Filipino man, one of my best friends. Listen, Luke versus Rose is going to be great because Chris CCH and Filipino man didn't start off with these characters in Street Fighter V. Reason being, they weren't available off the bat.
Right.
That's literally it. But Filipino man, definitely a veteran of the FGC, has been a longtime competitor. Chris CCH really finding his wings in Street Fighter V, becoming one of the best in the West Coast very, very quickly.
And you know what? One of the things, too, about Chris CCH is he's not afraid to go with what's strongest. When Seth was one of the strongest, he was definitely playing a lot of Seth. When Luke was strong, now he's playing Luke. But what's interesting, though, is that we talked to Filipino man recently, and he thinks that Rose is actually top tier now. He feels like the buffs that she got, I mean, like that one buff where they made it so that the shadows can OTG, so you have to quick rise.
You have to quick rise it, yeah.
Dude, genius.
That's pretty good.
Genius way to solve that, solve the, just take the throw against Rose.
Well, it was the thing, the biggest problem against that was that if you decided to stay on the ground, it would drain her meter. It would drain her feature, right? So that was the biggest thing. Is like, I don't want to be susceptible to it. She didn't have a lot of mix-ups in the first place, so it's like, all right, well, I could just sit here and block. Now they implemented the fact that the throws could be even more dangerous in that setup. So there's a lot more to it than that, though. We're going to see it just now.
Again, it's just a lot of very, very thoughtful changes and fixes and such. And Filipino man has said, now again, Filipino man, Chris CCH, Flaquito, obviously all very good friends here, so they've played each other a lot. But Filipino man has said that he feels like Rose is a character that can fight Luke. But I mean, Chris CCH is trying to, maybe he's been saving stuff until now.
No, there's no chance. I feel like they're going to be fighting at max capacity. Dang, that's a conversion. If I ever seen one with the side switch, that was a meaty fireball too. I'm sorry, James. I just hit you in the face. I meant to grab James's shoulder for that, and I might have. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
All right, guys. My nose is bleeding right now. I'm in pain and injuries. I'm going to have to step away just like I got punched in the face by Luke.
Welcome to Street Fighter, baby. Here we go. Filipino man just needs one touch and just barely out of space. Chris CCH actually went for a throw from that far.
Yeah, it was almost kind of a little bit of a accidental reaction right there, because Filipino man walked up and stopped, and that little delay there was enough time for Filipino man to finish walking up and throwing, and I think that was just Chris CCH's read a little bit too eager on that. All right. Back to this neutral here, and the crush counter. Yeah.
And I love it. The conversions that Rose gets off of stand short is so consistent because of that target combo.
Yeah.
Right? Now that the short is further, she gets it more consistent.
And now you got to block that. Okay, so Chris CCH with one of the first EX uppercut bust out situations. So that's going to be important, but at the same time now, man, Filipino man living up to what he was saying about how Rose can fight Luke, because she can fight him at this range.
Oh, with a giant jump in. There's going to be a lot of damage, but more importantly, he's going to get the Oki after the corner carry.
Yep.
EX Soul Spiral, that is the Filipino man staple. That is the patented Filipino man, I should say, to correct myself. I love seeing that from him because he has no fear when he does it. He commits to it. If you ever watch his streams, he will mash his stick till oblivion. He's like, I'm just going to do it. I don't care about what you feel today. I don't care about your Oki. I'm just going to do it. Throw me, I dare you. I don't care. I don't care.
Well, it seems to work out here. And remember, again, I mean, obviously this is for fun and everything like that, but Rob TV putting that bounty on Chris CCH's head, I think Filipino man is like, he's like, you know what? I want that money.
I can't wait to see it happening at Combo Breaker, I think. But yeah, Chris CCH and Filipino man, this is going to be a tough one. But we've seen Chris CCH pretty much download his opponents game after game. So this is going to be the most exciting thing. You have two best friends that are pretty much going head to head and trying to dissect each other as the rounds go. This is going to be probably max potential for both players and characters with the way they're going to play.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, I mean, it seems like maybe they're going back to the lobby. Chris CCH might be picked. Sticking with the chance. Because I mean, honestly, these two have played each other probably so much that it's going to be one of those situations where they already know each other, and like maybe he had an anti-Rose character or something, but doesn't look like it here.
I think these are the two anime protagonists. They're like, you have to give it our all.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it feels like to me.
And it's so funny too, because like people don't even realize, like a long time ago in tournaments, players would use their secondaries up until like later on, until they brought out their business character. Now everybody just goes straight to the business character right from the get-go. Okay. Ooh. Great whiff punish there for Filipino man. But speaking of whiff punish, yeah.
Oof. The amount of damage spent off of one bar, Chris CCH now locking down Filipino man in the corner, but it's not going to be for long, right? That definitely was too far for Chris CCH to get anything off of.
Yep, and here we go. You better quick rise. Yep. Oh, no, actually, that's right. He's using V-Trigger 1. Sorry.
Does get the teleport after that.
No, didn't get the juggle.
That's totally fine. Totally fine for Filipino Man now. Yes, I love using that stand fierce into the fireball too, that buff. But either way, let's talk about that later. Chris CCH in dire straits. The low forward confirm. The throw. Okay.
Come back here. Got maybe 2 mix-ups here. Chip damage. Tried. Oh my God! I can't believe did he just use that like a Ken jab DP? He just did light DP with Rose's light shawl.
I'm kind of taken aback that Chris CCH did not whiff punish the first one.
I know.
You know what's messed up? It could have been like Soul Spiral, EX Soul Spiral, right?
Oops. Accidental cancel into the soul throw there from Filipino Man. Gonna let Chris CCH in, but remember, this is 2 out of 3 starting here in this top 16. So Filipino Man is at match point.
It's so good. It's so much faster now. I love using that sweep. Or I love his usage of that sweep, excuse me.
Trade, and a great trade for Filipino Man because he gets the knockdown and he has all this. I mean, you can see right now they're at the center of the stage. Obviously, the Street Fighter Duel logo down there, but now Filipino Man put himself into the corner over here. But for a while, Filipino Man had all the stage to back off, and now he's trying to go for his comeback.
Oh my God, that could have been dangerous. That could have been whiff punish for game. Chris CCH now is trying to get himself on the board. Big counter hit, and that was actually magnificent. The pushback from crouching strong is less now, so you could actually get these conversions more consistently. That could have whiffed in the previous patch, I feel like.
They buffed Luke, you know. They gave him some buffs. Oh, I thought the fireball might have comboed off of that. Gets the frame trap.
Oh, no.
But yeah, it went for the wrong combo there. That wasn't going to connect. Wow, he tried to whip punish. It was too late, and I love that Filipino Man didn't just say, you know what, I hope I block. He said, you know what, if you're going to whiff, I'm going to whip punish you. So he had that all ready to go. Filipino Man on the verge of sending Chris CCH to the losers bracket right away.
We'll see. He's holding his ground pretty well, chipping away little by little. Does get the whiff punish. Chris has been going for some of these fierces, and it's not paid off. Yes, he's shifting out of the way. No roundhouses here.
And again, Filipino Man, one of the strongest players from the Street Fighter 4 era to come out of Southern California, of the new blood. And here he is at this point in time trying to get into the top 8 tomorrow. Winners are done for the day here, and the whiff punish from Filipino Man means that, yes, indeed, Filipino Man is done for the day. He has made it in the top 8. Just like that, Anton is going to be able to rest and see who he's going to have to go up against tomorrow.
And that's one Rose already into the top 8. We still have another potential one through the ways of Flaquito. But let's talk about this matchup a little bit, right? Chris CCH went down swinging, but swinging towards the air. There was a lot of instances where Chris CCH had tried to go for something like a forward fierce or even like a couple of flash knuckles, medium flash knuckle at that, and just didn't connect. I don't know what he could have been fishing for. Maybe try to get like a counter hit with the flash knuckle, or at least space it out at max distance to make himself, you know, I couldn't tell exactly what he was trying to do.
He was also really late on a lot of whiff punishes. And like I said, what's interesting about it, a lot of times is like, let's say I whiff a button here, right? And then you're like, oh man, he could whiff punish me. You get scared, you hold block because you're like, I want to block just in case he does whiff punish me. Filipino Man never played that way. You know, he was like, I whiffed a button. Chris might try to whiff punish me, but if he's late, why block? Why not whiff punish his missed whiff punish?
Yeah, and it was very seldom that he would whiff any sort of buttons. And it wasn't even like just normal buttons. It was actually like Soul Spiral, where certain instances where he was just like, here, I'm going to tease a little bit and see if you could punish my special move. And like you said earlier, he might treat it like Ken's DP, where you would just do Soul Spiral and then EX Soul Spiral, but it was just like a regular one for the example.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, no, I mean, I think Filipino Man played it well. He played the Fireball game majority of the time, I feel like, and that kind of chipped away little by little at Chris CCH. No matter where he was at on the screen, I think Filipino Man was having the advantage in terms of damage.
Well, I mean, this definitely lived up to what Filipino Man said. You know, he really feels like that Rose has the ability to fight Luke. And he definitely proved it right there, taking it over Chris CCH 2-0. Really impressive way to start CPT 2022 out. It's weird just saying
it
that.
Is weird. Yeah, I feel like what happened to 2021 and 2020? It's all
time is doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
It's not even there. So Again, coming up next, one of the other guy that was in the video that the Midwest said that they didn't even know who he was.
It's so interesting to hear that because had you been following along for a while, Flakito has been one of the staples in West Coast FGC. Like he's been one of the premier players as well for Street Fighter 4. Yeah. I will say he was in hiding for Street Fighter 5. He did not have a character that resonated with him. And I actually got to talk to him. He's like, yeah, I feel like there wasn't any character that I could use to annoy the opponents like I would want to. It wasn't verbatim, but he says, I want to be able to annoy players the way that I would like to do so. And he found a way with Rose.
Yeah, and speaking of trying to annoy players, I mean, he's going up against Mortzy. And, we have a lot of strong Fang players in the West Coast, right? We have maybe 2 or 3 strong Fang players out here, and Fang got buffed pretty well too. I mean, we already saw what Mono was able to do at CEO last year, even without the buffs. And I remember
that's a scary thought, man. That's a scary sentence.
When the patches came out, I just remember seeing all these tweets from Mono being like, they gave him this. This is what he was missing all along.
Yeah, a lot of folks have been saying that about the patch with Fang as we get ready for this next matchup. We've talked about it. What the highlight of the patch was: consistent conversions all across the board, right?
Yeah.
And even if it wasn't just conversions, you have Oki scenarios as well, where you actually get the advantage after a knockdown and get yourself into like a favorable position as well. There's a lot of that has been pretty much granted throughout the entire roster.
Can I do this for 1 second here, Jeremy? Can I just break the comment? They gave Lucia a lot of cool things. I'm so happy.
I thought about you when I saw all the Lucia stuff. I was starting to sweat a little bit. I'm like, do I go back to playing this character? She seems pretty cool. We are getting into it. Flakito versus Mortzy. You're going to expect Rose versus Fang. 2 characters that we rarely get to see. Seldom we're going to see it in a matchup now.
I mean, I've never seen this match. I'm just going to be perfectly honest with you. I have never seen this match before.
Oh, yeah. I'd be a liar. I'm like, yeah, I know exactly how this matchup goes down. No, absolutely not. But that's the best part. I think that's the beauty of it. We get to see some of these characters really get the spotlight, and some of these players, right? Mortzy, again, one of the more prestigious Fang players in the world, I would say. He's been very, very consistent. And Flakito really making his name. When he premiered on sets on Monday and played off against Ryan F. Man, did that really resonate with a lot of the West Coast players? Like, man, let's go, Flakito. That felt pretty good. And a lot of the players were like, what the heck is Flakito? Like, I mean, what is a Flakito?
And you know what the best part about it is? I almost feel like with that, Rob obviously had his own little call-out videos and stuff, and I
loved it, by the way.
it was great.
I love both videos.
Oh yeah. And like he was even like, who is Flakito? I almost feel like
the pause when he did, who is Flakito? That was the best.
Dude,
who is Flakito? It was so good.
But the funniest thing is, I feel like that put even more of a highlight onto Flakito. Now everyone's gonna be like, oh, here's that guy that Rob said he didn't know, and then when he starts winning, people are gonna be like, oh, no news is bad news. Let's just put it that way, right? So,
what's funny is Mortzy is actually a Midwest transplant.
Oh, is he?
He is from the Midwest.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're going to see maybe a preview of West Coast versus Midwest right here.
Okay.
I'm just speculating. I'm just speculating and instigating. Don't worry about me.
Yeah, we still don't know who's on that Midwest team. Oh, using the activation to see what he was going to do, and so he had the Strike Invo EX Soul Spiral ready to go. Out of there.
That was nasty!
Oh, my goodness. Oh, cancelable standing medium kick now, too. What
is happening?
Yeah, it pushed him into the corner so that the heavy punch just did not hit at all. And here we go. Yep, the poison ball keeping him safe. Trade, but Mortz is going to come out on top of that trade. And again, Fang is a character who to kind of go at the point that a lot of people, I feel like, aren't familiar with this character. There's some people out there who still thinks this character is a zoner. But, honestly, he is a pretty crazy character once he gets in on you.
Yeah, way more so now with this definitive patch. That's for sure. Oh, a little slight mishap for Flakito. Mortzy does get the turnaround. He does get a back throw for the positioning, and that was so delayed.
Wow, he just waited. He was willing to bet that Flakito wasn't going to come down with the proper jump attack to hit low enough.
Oh, counter hit does get the conversion with the standing heavy punch afterwards. A big tech from Flakito. Just about even to activation raw from Flakito. And he gets the conversion as well off of the Soul Spark. But
I
still,
love that
again,
command dash, so he doesn't have to worry about which side to block. Oh, that crouching medium kick missed. That fireball's not going to combo.
Yeah, I was curious about that. I was like, it doesn't even matter what your name is. Morty with the full conversion from that far away. Good awareness using that command dash. I was so scared when Flakito jumped out of the corner, and that I thought it was either crouching medium kick or crouch short. I'm like, oh boy, don't miss those anti-airs, please.
Oh man, but Morty here, you know what Morty's saying right now? Who is Flakito?
He is saying that.
Who is Flakito?
I'm going to erase his name from existence.
Ooh, starting off going right under the fireball. But, obviously not a lot of meter here, so not going to get a lot of damage for the start. That's punishable, yeah. Flakito definitely thought he had the punish in time. And here's Morty a little too far away for the juggle. But has, nice. Rio Benda's there to kind of lock Flakito down in the corner. It's close to stun. He really wants that stun, you can tell. And so that's why really smart for Flakito to use that EX.
Onto the other side, too. He's going to get the fierce follow-up after that. Yes, sir. Way more consistent in getting that from the delayed jab. Morty getting that fierce connector to finish it off against Flakito. 1 round away from sending him to loser's bracket.
Yeah. Oh,
that was disgusting.
Oh, no. Drops the combo. And now he's going to end up taking a good chunk of damage. The damage isn't the problem. It's really the momentum more than anything. And I feel like Fang's cower crouch just ran out there. Couldn't. Oh, what? Yo, what is happening? This is what I mean. How is this a zoning character, dude? He's just coming in at you and mixing you up all day.
Now you have the raw activation from Flakito. Going to be way more versatile. Yeah, switches up to the other side. Morty with the block 2 times over. Great defense from Morty so far. Take the poison. B-skill 1, still the optimal, or excuse me, the preferred B-skill so far from what I've seen.
Yeah, punish off of the sweep. And now Flakito only with 1 chunk of life here. He's got to be careful. Oh, God, I love what Morty, the spacing on Flakito on that light shawl right there. Keep it safe. Trying to stay away from that fireball. Activate again. And now his projectile's a true projectile. You got to be careful. Here he is.
The instant overhead. That is the classic. Morty gave him something to think about. He dashed up after the fireball. He chased in hot pursuit and gave him something to think about. You sit in this corner, young man.
I thought Morty was done that round, but then he got that activation. He got another trigger. Yep. He activated, and now remember, once he's activated V skill 1, the projectiles become actual projectiles. They hit to it. They erase the other fireballs, and that's what allowed him to get in a little bit closer and then just command dash all the way across the screen into the instant overhead. Morty is sending Flakito to the loser's side of the bracket. So Flakito and Chris CCH already going down to the loser's side to Morty and Filipino Man. Now, obviously, Morty, Filipino Man, 2 very, very strong players. They will be going up against each other tomorrow in the top 8.
And that's another matchup that we rarely get to see. We're going to see the run back between Rose and Fang. But for the most part, I don't recall really seeing these 2 play against each other. I'd have to do my research on that going into it tomorrow. But either way, we're moving on to the 3rd match. Nephew versus You See It, Danka Diaz. And this is going to be pretty exciting. But
we've got a replay here first for Flakito. And dude, that was sick. And it looked like that. Was it Morty stuck out a button that got hit? I'm not sure. But there was the trade right there in favor for Morty. And then Morty got himself to match point in the next game. I want to see that last sequence from Morty, but you can see it here. Flakito was in the lead so often, and Morty would find the way back every single time. And here we go. Look at this. Now you have to block. You see that V skill 1 caused him to block, and then he was able to throw the double fireball. Yeah, and then then he had 3 projectiles blocked, and then he came forward with the command dash into the overhead.
The toughest thing, when I was saying he's giving him something to think about, if you break it down specifically, as he's walking up, within that range, you have so many threats, right? You have that instant overhead, which took the game. You have the threat of the lows, right? You do have more conversions now with Fang. He's actually able to convert off of the crouching short now. And then you had the threat of the throw because of the fact that he walked so close.
Right. And shimmy. right?
Exactly.
That whole thing is all there.
I forgot all about that. Actually.
Flaquito was probably thinking the same thing. He was probably like, he might shimmy me, or is it going to be the throw shimmy mix up? And then it turned into the high-low mix up instead and caught him off guard. So.
Did he get caught standing? I wish I saw.
No, he was crouching when he got hit.
Yeah,
he definitely got caught crouching.
Because if he was just like moving forward, I would have been like, you madman. But, yeah.
Yeah, and man, again, shout outs to Mortsy. Love seeing it. And again, this is what I'm expecting to see. And, we'll talk about this a little bit more later on, before we go to breaks and stuff like that. But that whole thing where they're unlocking the tracksuit costumes based off of who wins the events with the characters.
They're doing that?
Yeah, that's sick, dude. So, there's going to be a new tracksuit for every character. If that character wins a CPT, that character's tracksuit actually gets unlocked. And that's actually really sick, dude.
That is pretty cool. I saw that in in the trailer, but I didn't know it was going to be unlocked this way. That's actually pretty dang cool. Even more of an incentive for you to follow your favorite characters, right? Be able to cheer on for some of your favorite players as well.
Look, I'm just going to say it. 19 events. I wouldn't be surprised if we had like 15 different tracksuits unlocked by then, dude. Because
that is true. You have 19 potential tracksuits to unlock for at least the online events, right? But as it stands right now, you could still get these outfits with fight money starting pretty much now.
Yeah.
It's already been available, but yeah, they will be released for free as each CPT Premier event happens, and it's gonna be it's gonna be so sick. Actually, I would really love to rock that outfit, even more so in different colors.
But I do believe we're going to the next match here, right? This is going to be Nephew versus Dankadias, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Nephew versus Dankadias, and for a while, Nephew was the guy. Right, before Chrissy
still is the guy.
Yeah, and he still is the guy. Like, Nephew is like, what do you mean was the guy?
No, I think he still is the guy. The problem is there was a problem child before him. Oh, I can't say that because Nephew is younger than Dankadias. I always forget. I always forget how old these kids are.
Oh man,
this is the biggest concern in my opinion. Colleen's current nerfs, her current state.
Yeah.
Is it going to hinder someone like Nephew? I feel like Nephew is such a smart player. He's done so much of the lab work. He's streamed his thought processes of each matchup. And he's going to go up against someone in kind, right? Dankadias is exactly that same player.
Right.
When it comes to Dalsim Tech, he is a lab monster. If you watch him stream, very rarely will he stream Street Fighter V because he's always in the lab. He just does so many Discord streams and shows off so much tech.
Oh, really?
It's insane.
Dang.
It's actually insane.
Okay,
so you have two very like-minded individuals, except, I feel like Dalsim right now didn't get nerfed as badly. If anything, there were stealth buffs, if anything.
Yeah.
We were talking about one of the biggest ones, one of the biggest examples is stand median kick.
Exactly, yeah.
It's like less pushback on hit. It's like, all right, well, that just means they get to press the button more, James.
Right, it gets to be more annoying. And don't forget, too, if people don't remember, Dankadias was one spot away. I think, what was it, ZJZ that he lost to qualify for Capcom Cup a couple of Capcom Cups ago. So Dankadias also very, very strong, but is this Dankadias playing right now? It's maybe Dankadias.
It could be.
So
it could be. You see it right above his name. It could be Dankadias.
Oh no, that's not good.
I think he might have tried to go for slide into activation of the trigger, but the icicles were still, the hail was still coming in.
All right, well, Nephew's got the activation, and obviously what some of the biggest nerfs to Colleen was, on the side of a little bit of the big trigger. Oh, what the fuck?
And Nephew totally let that rock anyway. He did want to bait that out against Dankadias.
Uh-oh. Here comes Dankadias now with an opportunity.
Jeez.
Wow, didn't see the fireball coming at all. Yeah, Dankadias went for one of the most Hail Mary kind of things, and, because it was so unexpected, Nephew had no reaction to the fireball activation. And so,
oh boy.
Nice, yeah, remember, he gets knocked down now after that teleport, so that was one of the nerfs of Dalsim. After the air teleport, it's a hard knockdown now.
And then you saw the secrets with Dankadias and the Yoga Gales, right? There is significant pushback on that now, so you can't really abuse it as much up close.
Nice, and there's that V-shift, the previous to the definitive patch, they said that V-shift was going to be such a powerful tool for Dalsim, and you can still see it. right. Just needs one more chunk, one more hit from Nephew, but Nephew's going to get the activation. Going to start with a good hit here. How's he going to follow this up? Probably just going to juggle with the Parabellum again. Stay in his face.
Forward throw now, but that's still a tough hill to climb. Oh, there's no punish on that. That was a attempt at the parry. Dengadillas just let it rock. There's the slide. Either way, could have gone to trigger to cook him up.
Dude,
and that's going to be game one.
That was both players right there seeing a big giant like hit me flag and neither of them doing anything.
Yeah.
Dengadillas throwing that fireball in the corner.
To be fair, I feel like Colleen wouldn't have been able to like walk up fierce without
Maybe,
like dying.
maybe,
I don't
yeah.
know. That's tough. It was a little further out, but I don't know what Dank's excuse was for not reacting to the
whiff counter. Yeah,
the whiff parry.
Yeah, the counter. Dengadillas was like, nah, I'm not gonna take it like that. I need to earn it. Oh, there we go. Crush out of the air, gets the juggle. Too far away for the V skill to connect.
What's interesting is that Nephew is still trying to swing away with the stand heavy punches. Very seldom will you see the stand medium punch used in neutral because of the change or the nerfs to it.
Wow, he did crouching heavy punch in the middle of a block string. Dengadillas is kind of insane. Oh. Yeah, you're right. I just want to make all these comments about Dengadillas being a young man, but Nephew's younger. It's so weird.
It's so weird, man. Oh, that had been grounded.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a regular teleport. My mistake.
Okay, and it goes away. Doesn't keep trying. Oh, look at that. Standing strong right there, just taking out the hail. Again.
I love it.
Just
Dengadillas
great
just spot
awareness. Yeah.
That's exactly it. Yeah, he knows that Nephew wants a different way in, and it's the hail again. What is that, 3 for 3?
Yeah. I think at this point in time, Nephew cannot test Dengadillas' reaction, or at least has to wait till Dengadillas is a little farther away, but then obviously the hail will miss the target that he wants it at the spacing.
But we've seen Nephew climb from these depths before. That is going to be a big punish for Nephew, or at least a decent amount of damage with the Oki. Still retaining this corner positioning. The standing fierce to keep Dengadillas a little bit nervous there. No!
But not a huge punish.
Oh,
okay,
my!
got the counter this time. Not going to whiff that one, and here comes Nephew, but
Wake up Gale.
Yeah.
That wasn't even reversal.
that's the option select. That's the Dawson Throw OS, his version that was taken away from everybody else in Season 1.
Man, I'm rusty. I just said that wasn't even a reversal. That was Tiger Knee Yoga Gale, and I said that wasn't even a reversal. Come on now. Jeez.
It's been a while, It's been a while. It's been a little bit of a
definitely
break
has.
here. Oh,
It definitely has.
okay, but you know what? But a back throw puts him into the middle of the screen. That's an interesting decision, but look at the corner carry that Colleen has. So, not even
quite
stunned yet.
Had it been back throw, I think he would have had it. The hail is not going to hit Dengadillas.
Wow, and he's not even going to get stunned. I thought that was almost going to be a guaranteed stun. And now Dengadillas, did he just walk half a screen
did.
with Dhalsim?
I would say like a quarter.
Okay,
I'll say a quarter. It was enough to get him out of the corner, I will say.
All right. Man.
Oh, that was still in time?
Yeah, nice decision by Nephew. And then the raw sweep. Now, obviously, he had the trigger right there to be able to cancel out of it, but it did find its mark. And so there you go. Nephew not going down easily, tying this up 1-1. So, again, 2 out of 3. Winner is on to Sunday automatically.
Right. And we were just talking about this earlier. Nephew being down to pretty much match point. We've seen him come back from these exact moments. He's been one of... kind of similar to Punk, right? We talk about who is the most clutch player in the FGC, or at least in North America. Nephew definitely has those traits in him.
Oh, yeah.
He's done this so many times over where he's come back from near-death experiences in tournaments. So I wouldn't be surprised right now if he's going to kind of put the pieces of the puzzle together against Dengadillas. But I also want to know what is going to be, or what the counter strategy is going to be from Dengadillas now.
But, speaking on Nephew, I remember when Punk did live in Northern California for a brief period of time.
He brought the hyperbolic time chamber to them.
Yeah, he was living with Nephew.
Insane.
So
by proxy, he was leveling everybody up in
Yeah,
San Francisco. That's cheating.
And one of the reasons why, I mean, obviously Nephew was already good, but spending that time with Punk, I think, and probably being able to practice, you know. I mean, we're going to assume they played a lot most days, but then you know how it is
That is
sometimes.
a fair assumption. I would say I would actually put money on that they were doing that.
Yeah, and that
That's a really
definitely
bad
helped him a lot. It definitely helped him a lot, I feel like. And now Dankadias here, trapped in the corner, gotta fight. Oh my God, that's the second V skill that Nephew has rocked here. So definitely a tool that he's showing that he wants to use a lot, and it has also given him a lot of V trigger as well. You see, look how little life he lost, and he activated V trigger because he kept landing those V skills.
And what was smart about that is he managed to get that V-trigger activation, still went for the hail route knowing he was susceptible to a slide, but the fact of the matter is the hail was so much bigger because of that trigger that Dank wasn't ready for it.
Oh, man. Uh-oh. Here we go. Look at this. Nephew making the adjustments as we talked about. He's going to get the EX Parabellum into the corner. And here we go. Dangerous situation for Dankadias. Okay, gets out of there with the slide into the trigger activation. Does not teleport out of the corner. Stays in there because he wants to keep Colleen there roasting on the fire.
But at what cost? You do not. Yeah, that's going to be a big whiff punish.
On the drill.
Going for the chip. I throw my dude. Whoa. There's so many whiffs. What is
I don't know
happening?
what is happening here?
Yeah, it's still V skill 2.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Oh, I didn't even realize he had switched to the V skill too.
It's not the V reversal. He wants to save it for possibly a V shift, but no, sir. Nephew just needs at least a touch.
Yeah, this is so
Maybe from a medium or
dangerous
higher.
at this point, especially because he has. So the problem right there with the V skill 2 from Dankadias is that as soon as Nephew activated the V trigger, he had the ice spike available to him for projectile invul and just to go straight across the screen. So Dankadias just couldn't throw out that V skill 2 powered up fireball from a screen away. So you saw him there, and it just looked like he was like, you know what, I can't do anything over here, which just allowed Nephew to get in for free, and Nephew is going to take it over Dankadias.
And that's going to be exactly what we talked about earlier. Nephew coming from near-death experience for his tournament life. But Dankadias, again, trying to make those adjustments just a little too late, I feel like, with the V-Skill 2. There was an idea there for Dankadias, but as it stands right now, Nephew was the better player today. Dankadias is going to be moving on from the top 16 in the loser side, while Nephew is pretty much done for the day.
Yep. Exactly. And we've got one more match to find out who is going to make that winner side top 8 with 5 letters, XSK and JB going
The
up
battle of the
against it.
acronyms.
Exactly. But before we even get to that point, I want to talk about Street Fighter. Look, you guys know this. You guys have been watching CPT, right? This is something that you guys are all familiar with. But Street Fighter Duel is the Capcom authorized mobile game, and you can see it. I mean, look, we got new artwork here for you guys, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful stuff over here. But it is available to download in China, and I know we've been saying this for a while. The global version is coming soon.
Give me that release date, Capcom.
It's coming soon. But you can fight along with Ryu, Chun-Li, and Ken against the Suzaku Castle. Further into Shadowloo City, explore the mysterious organization, experience the classic stories with all your fighters, and recall your memories of the original Street Fighter. Your Street legend is now back on track. So again, this is going to be a game that's going to have all the systems in there: counter, stuns, combos, super, an impressive array of fighting elements, and the associate combos offer you a new battle experience challenging your combat skill. The epic legend is reborn on mobile. Be prepared to download Street Fighter Duel, and let's fight for each other and join the journey with millions of players to become the best fighter in the world.
My man Bison just took over Suzaku Castle like it was nothing. The background stage of Ryu, his hometown, right?
I know, now they just need to add him in the background. He's just like sitting there peering out the windows, you know?
Yeah, it would be sick if you had Akuma and Bison duking it out on the top of Suzaku Castle. That'd be epic. That'd be super epic. I'm just spitting these ideas. But anyways, if you guys are fans of what you're seeing right now with Street Fighter V and you own the game on PlayStation 4 or PC, well, guess what? Season 1 through 5, all of those characters are now available. And for a limited time offer this weekend, if you're on PlayStation 4, you actually get a free trial of the game with all 45 characters available. Be sure to download and play now. If you're having a great time with it, watching this tournament, and have had experience prior with Street Fighter V, now is a great time to get back into it. And for those that are watching for the first time, well, guess what? This is a great opportunity for you to jump into the fighting game community.
Have they always associated seasons with specific colors? Because I noticed that each of the seasons has different background colors, and I don't know, part of my OCD loves that, and it just feels neat.
It does, right? In season 3, they had the really flashy kind of
gold.
Yeah. So
with G, with the tattoos and everything, it was all gold, so it all kind of.
Man, I remember that Capcom Cup too when that announcement was made, and I remember how excited Alex Myers was for that Sakura reveal, man. But either way, again, free trial going on this weekend, and again, if you already have the game on PlayStation 4 or PC, guess what? All the characters are now available. Ladies and gentlemen, we still have one more match to go through in our top 16 from the winner's side to determine who will be in that top 8 position. So do not go anywhere. We'll be back with more North America West here in the CPT.
Time to fly, time to fly. Never give up, we won't retreat. The ones who stand have turned defeat. So fly, time to fly. Glory waits for those who fight. We unite, we are street fighters.
So, you really want to go through the trouble? Fine. All clear! Easy mode too much? Sucks to be you. I'm always ready for a fight.
Welcome back, everybody, to the first CPT event of 2022. Thank you all for joining us for the start of this year's journey to Capcom Cup. And we are starting with, of course, the North America West region. We already have 3 players into the top 8 for tomorrow. And we're going to find out who the last player on the winner side is.
Right. In case you missed it, again, we have the VODs available on all streaming platforms over at Capcom Fighters. Again, if you guys want to check out when things are happening, CapcomProTour.com/schedule is where you need to go, or even follow them on social media with Capcom Fighters. With that in mind, let's break it down and have what you might have missed, right? Let's take a look at the brackets from the winner's side of top 16. Filipino Man taking it down 2-0 against Chrissy CH, one of the number 1 prospects, I should say.
Yes.
Like one of the top prospects, I should say, of taking it down for North America West, right? And then down below, Morty 2-0 against Fakito. This time the Rose didn't prevail. 2 roses didn't happen, unfortunately. Would have been really cool. And then you see Nephew versus Danka Diaz, pretty much the closest set we've had today, in a sense that Nephew came back from near death.
Yep, and then coming up, you can see over here in the next match, I'm sure you guys are all very familiar with JB, but some of you might be like, who's this XSK guy, right? So let me tell you a story about Central California, a man by the name of XSK Samurai, one of the strongest players from the Central California, the Fresno area, in Street Fighter IV. Very classic styled Ryu player, made a name for himself in Street Fighter League. I know you got to see a bunch of that over there as well, and commentate those matches. For a while he just went by Samurai. He dropped the XSK from his name, but now he seems to have decided to switch things around, and now he's just XSK.
And it's funny because I asked him, what in the heck does that even mean? He's like, in different games, it stands for 0 skill. I'm like, that's quite the opposite of what you're about.
Right?
I feel like. Then you have, on the other hand, JB coming in from the East Coast, actually moving down to the West Coast for quite some time now. He's been a part of SoCal for a long time, and one of the staples of Wednesday Night Fights, rocking that Rashid for so long and being a character loyalist.
Yeah, and you know what? XSK is going to be one of the players moving towards Luke, but, you know, it makes sense for XSK because he's been a Shoto player his whole entire life. It's been Ryu, then some evil Ryu, and then here in Street Fighter V, for a while it was just Ryu, and then he put on the Akuma. He also did some work with Kage, and Luke is going to be a kind of character that encompasses a lot of those, right? He's got the projectile, he's got a DP, and those are things that he wants, but more importantly, Luke has some ridiculous normals on the ground with some footsies, especially with those forward advancing normals that he's going to give him the ability to whiff punish better, right?
Yeah, you have forward heavy punch. One of the biggest things, though, although he may be a nuisance with some of his medium strength buttons, it's still going to be whiff punishable now, or even more so.
Right,
I think they made it so that his crouching medium kick did have a lingering hitbox to it, so it's easier to punish. But at the same time, it's like players at this level wouldn't be whiff punishing as much. I say that now, but I bet you JB is going to find a way to force that whiff from XSK. We'll see how it plays out. It's JB versus XSK. Going to be Luke versus Rashid.
0 skill, huh? That's what that stands for.
Apparently,
you know, originally I thought Mikey was before I knew much about him. I thought maybe he was Korean, so it was like XSK, like he was XS Korean kind of thing.
I see.
But that was my initial guess, but I was wrong. He's not even Korean.
Oh, the crouch counter from the crouching fierce. Excuse me.
Look at this, JB. Does not want to feel like he's down in number of letters. So you see his name is OJB here. So.
I wonder who the original JB is on CFA.
Right. It's got OJB and an XSK PC. Man, she's got letters all over the place. Oh, there was that hit. Oof. But speaking of whiff punishes, you get a start right here.
Oh, that was so tricky. I think that could have been so much more dangerous for JB, but both the players just pretty much stared each other in the eye as soon as XSK dashed up.
Yeah, and they did nerf Rashid in a lot of different ways, but they buffed that V-Trigger 1. So there's a lot of really cool tech out of that, especially like now if it hits, it doesn't actually use up all of the hits.
But he's going to use up all the critical art here off of that conversion. But yeah, no, I agree with you. I think having that threat of the lingering V-Trigger 1 just makes it so much scarier for someone like JB as well. The way that he implements some of these mix-ups, he's very creative with the way he maneuvers as Rashid, right? So again, taking it down the first round, spending that bar as he should off of that confirm, but at what cost? Can he still maintain the lead?
And obviously, you know, at Street Fighter League, for the longest time, JB was on Punk's team, right? If I'm not mistaken.
That's correct.
And, you know, Samurai, XSK, I'm sorry, you know, was kind of the rival of that team, you know? And so I feel like, you know, he's built up this rivalry with JB. And I think they just played each other recently at a Canadian event, and I believe JB won that one.
I think it was the West Coast Roast, right?
Yes.
And we're seeing a significant change up here. XSK, I think there's something about the way that XSK is playing. He's still keeping it the Shoto approach, and I say that what I mean by that is that he's been playing a lot of the fireball game that kind of tests what JB wants to do in neutral. Look at that, spinning the bar already. This is the threat right here.
Yeah.
D-trigger 1.
And you can see it too. You can visually see the nerf to the EX spinning mixer on how much slower of a startup it is now.
Yeah, that's right. I was just thinking about that. I'm like, can you still, you know, do a meaty jab and treat it like a Urian headbutt? RIP?
I think you can. I think you can. I know in some situations. Again, look, I, after this match is over, I'm going to plug something for you guys that you all need to go and check out. So.
Revealing the tech, huh, James?
Yeah,
I
exactly.
Like 13 seconds on the clock. Dang, that was so far.
Yeah, and look at this. JB could still absolutely take this, but Samurai's got to make sure he doesn't get...
Actually is a throw away from taking it against XSK. Do not get thrown. And that's it. That's going to be it. Oh, red whisk! And that JB barely was out of the way. But I feel like if he was within range, I don't think he would have reacted to it in time. Because we saw the character move up in a block position, standing block position, just like a hair too late.
And at the West Coast Roast, I kind of remember now because I was commentating these matches, but I remember that JB, one of the ways that he would defeat XSK was kind of playing this. He knows XSK is willing to let the timer run all the way down.
Absolutely.
Like that is one of Mikey's favorite weapons is the timer. Yeah. JB is willing to play that with him and steal those games at the very end like he just did. Mikey's biggest mistake was trying to jump out of the corner and getting hit by that big juggle combo.
We see XSK willing to trade off with some of these normals a little bit more often, right? He's duking it out with some of the medium buns and even send light kick every so often rather than resorting into the light, or excuse me, the sand blaster. But JB being so smart and stuffing out that forward advancing normal, that was forward fierce. XSK's, man, I wanted to say Samurai Sword.
Yeah, I know, right?
He was trying to get that trigger activation earlier, but now JB just running all over him in the corner. Exactly what Rashid should be doing. This is his home.
Yeah. Oh, that's going to take it right there. And, you know, you saw evidence of what we were talking about. The Isar, the V-Trigger 1 hit. It hit all 3 hits. JB juggled afterwards, but there's still 1 hit remaining because it doesn't have the juggle potential to juggle 4 times. It only juggles 3 times, but that leaves 1 hit to be a threat, which is so nasty.
I like this opener so far from XSK. Does get the crush counter early and does get himself into that mix-up opportunity with the medium knuckles.
Nice quick punish.
Now he gets to force JB to be impatient, right?
I mean, this is the first time I feel like XSK has actually gotten JB into the corner like this. For the most part, it's been the opposite. Ooh. Well, we'll punish there, but XSK is going to get the hit here, trying to stay alive. JB is at match point, but XSK slowly working his way back in there. If he could take this next round, he will tie it up 1-1. Can he pull that nephew comeback that we saw earlier?
What a crush counter to start things off. JB already forcing XSK into the corner already.
Just the standing medium punch instead of the forced medium punch, but he gets the stun, and this is not looking good for Samurai at all.
Oh, he was waiting for an uppercut. JB trying to play it patient, but still XSK now looking for a little bit of damage, maybe trying to find a trigger route, but I feel like it's going to be too early. No, he does it off of the target combo instead.
Yeah. And we've seen how much damage Luke can dish out, and so he is never quite out of this, but misses the jump attack. And here we go, just a tiny bit of life here left. How much meter is he going to spend? He's going to save it 1 hit.
Oh, I thought JB was going to flinch. He delayed it. He dashed up. That wasn't even like a positive scenario, I don't think. I can't recall what exactly the ender was, but at the same time, it wasn't going to be enough to fool JB. I mean, he calls himself the Hamburglar. for a very specific reason. But at that
Yes.
time, he played pretty solid. I mean, he waited for the tricks. He's not prone to those tricks anymore. He's already faced the Samurai before in multiple seasons of Street Fighter League, right? So JB taking it down. That could have been a big turnaround for XSK Samurai. Man, I'm never gonna stop saying that. Yeah,
Right?
Had XSK, let's just theorize a little bit, or hypothesize a little bit, right? Had XSK taken that game, I think it would have definitely rattled JB and would have pretty
Especially
much we would have
with the
seen
super.
XSK play a little bit more offensively. I think.
Yeah.
But as it stands right now, JB taking it 2-0, pretty much nipping it in the bud as soon as possible because we've seen the potential of XSK. One of the biggest questions I have personally is how come XSK hasn't retorted back to playing Ryu?
I know, right? I'm wondering that myself because obviously that character has gotten a lot better with a ton of the
Super
buffs.
cool, man. Like such a good
Yeah.
character right now. And I love the damage that Ryu can get off of light DP.
and that's gonna a kind of a nice little transition into what I wanted to mention. You know what I was hinting at. Look, obviously we have amazing content creators out there on the social media verse out here for Street Fighter and such. I definitely want to highlight Bafael, who has put in so much work for making videos one by one for all the differences of the patch notes and how they affected the characters. And they're all very quick, to the point. They will give you a great summary on exactly what a lot of the changes mean. And it actually makes me happy to be able to promote these, the content that is created by these guys, especially because, like I said, he did it for every character.
He
Man.
did, and he makes it. Yeah, you just talked about it. He eliminates the fluff. He just goes right into it, and he shows you what the practical use of each buff can lead to, or the significance of each nerf. Again, you want to check it out. It's Bafael, Bafael on YouTube. You want to check him out. He does a fantastic job of breaking down. He's literally our go-to every time a patch comes out. It's either like him or like Javits or like the boys from EU as well, right? So all those cats that have been throwing it down on social media for bringing out what's happening with these patches. If you don't have time to sit down and play every single character, or you just may not know the full scope of what these nerfs are or what these buffs mean, these guys pretty much find the practical use for everything, I feel like, and make it so easy to digest.
I'm going to make a little plug for myself here, too. I talked about how V-Trigger 1 from Rashid loses the juggle potential and all that stuff. I also just released a video that describes exactly how Street Fighter's juggle works.
That's right,
Going through the history since Super Turbo. So it's kind of fun. So you can tweet at me if you want me to link that or anything like that. But I just don't want to be like, here, check this. So.
But you should. I feel like you should. It's very important, right?
YouTube.com/UltraChenTV.
There he
Okay,
is.
UltraChenTV. I have a video out there. That
Somewhere Ultra David's ears are ringing. He's like sipping his coffee.
It's a fun video, like I said, that talks about the history of how the juggle system works and the patch notes as well. When you look at the patch notes, they talk about the combo count limits and all that stuff.
Yes.
And I explain exactly what all that stuff means.
And you're definitely going to need it, especially with these cats down below as we get ready for the loser side of top 16, because some of these patches introduce some real big threats. And I say that through the likes of Prototype and Cuz Lightyear. It's going to be Alex versus Ibuki. I feel like these two have won the awards for some of the most significant buffs this season.
I mean, look, everybody looked at these patch notes and we're like, yeah, Alex is going to be a problem.
He's going to be a problem.
I mean, I
can't wait.
Let's just put it this way. Mostly he got buffs. I think it was almost like all buffs. And, talking about Bafael's videos, the Alex video, I swear, is the longest one.
It's like, it was within like 6 to 7 minutes.
Yeah.
6 to 7, not 67. Sorry.
Yeah.
6 to 7 minutes, I think. And Ibuki had some pretty significant ones as well, right? Different ways of landing consistent damage. The threat of her kunai is back with V-Trigger.
Yes,
It's gone back to its +2 state after getting blocked.
Man, and it's nice. And it's nice, too, because, obviously one of the best Ibuki players out there, Cien. And there was this clip of Cien messing with Ibuki, and he was just like, oh my gosh, there's so much to try now. There's so many new toys. Like, he looks so happy. And that's one of the coolest things. And so Cuz Lightyear here rocking that Ibuki. But again, Prototype with that Alex. Super, super scary character. And Prototype looks like he's about to fly an F-15 and take you out right now. But he's going to be doing all the flying with Alex.
I believe,
trust me.
He's the one taking Cuz Lightyear on the highway to the danger zone. That's for sure.
Oh, man.
But, I mean, Cuz Lightyear is here for a reason as well. I mean, he's been around the block for quite some time, former sergeant, not in any sort of military capacity. But I'll tell you what, his Ibuki is definitely a threat in the realm of ranked.
Yeah, and you know, this is one of the things like we're gonna see a lot of, I think, is just this character variety. And it, like I said, last year, I mean, we definitely saw an Ibuki here or there, but I mean, like I said, 2 Ibukis here, and we're gonna see a lot more. And you know, like, part of me hopes Cien goes back to Ibuki, you know, because like I
would love
feel
that.
like, you know, or maybe even Fujimura going back to Ibuki, you know.
Maybe not. No, don't
No,
do that.
probably.
that'd be so scary. I like the way he's navigating Chun-Li right now.
Okay,
I
fair,
think we
fair.
need that. But I wouldn't be surprised though.
Right.
I would love to. I would also, all jokes aside, I would love to see him go back to Ibuki. That'd be pretty neat.
Yeah, but again, Alex, one of those characters that's gotten buffed in all sorts of locations. But again, not in any way that I think that's going to make him super, super broken. As you can see here already, Prototype starting on the loser side of the bracket. He is rocking that V-Skill 2, which got improved by a lot.
Significantly. We haven't seen it in play just yet.
Yeah, he hasn't had a chance to charge it up yet. But you can see right now, Cuz Lightyear, when's the last time we've seen V-Trigger 1 with Ibuki, right? We very rarely saw that after the Shuriken first came out. Like, it just kind of erased the existence of the bomb. But Cuz Lightyear going with the bomb. Oh no!
That was definitely a kunai attempt if I ever seen it. But the fact that he still got away with murder and got the throw, that was pretty impressive.
Oh, I thought that was going to be a cross-up. Nice block from Prototype. Oh, that was definitely not what he was trying to do, I don't think.
Do you think Cuz Lightyear would have been able to go for the target combo afterwards? That was very interesting. He just let the sweep rock.
All right. The Prototype here, we're seeing a little bit of execution errors, but here we go. Good damage. All right, gets the throw a little too far away, and that EX Kunai has been good forever. It's
Oh, my.
Ooh, okay.
He's showing off all the buffs right now. Look at the extra damage.
It's not enough to kill. Uh-oh. Not like this. Okay, yep, not like this. He gets the crouching medium kick.
I was super curious about that last sequence in the corner. I think, can she still get an instant jump short overhead against Alex?
Oh, probably. I would imagine so. The fuzzy, right? You're talking about like the fuzzy guard. Yeah.
Yes.
Probably. I would imagine so.
Because he was point blank. He was definitely within Alex's hurt box right in the middle. So I was really concerned about Prototype's health after that. Ooh.
All right.
Bob. Do it again.
Yeah, do it again.
He's going to do it again, James. Oh.
No, he was hoping that Cuz Lightyear thought he was going to do it again. Definitely going for the counter hit, standing heavy kick. But here comes Lightyear, and there it is, the party starter, that EX Kunai.
Oh!
Uh-oh, this time doesn't get the whiff jump into throw. Oh,
he
here we
baited
go.
the V reversal? Damn.
Okay, what's the mix-up? Oh, I love the V-shift to get away from the bomb. Very smart by Prototype, keeping himself alive.
That's
but
huge.
The neutral jump against all... So the stomp now is safe on block, but is more punishable on whiff.
It's 10 frames of recovery for the regular one, at least.
Yeah, and so what that means now is that if you see Alex go up into the air, whether he's going to stun gun or he's going to stomp, neutral jump is going to be a pretty consistent counter to both of them if you
Same
can
with
react
V-shift
to it.
as well, yeah.
Yeah, and because before he used to recover off of the whiff stomp and was able to still punish you with like an EXDP or something like that. But with those 10 extra frames, now jumping, it's not... If you can react to it and jump in time, it's going to be a less of a threat, even though it's safe on block now.
Yeah, at that point, you should be pretty much jumping it every single time. I don't know what it's going to be like in the interaction of like whiffing an EX version. Oh, just like that. So that's great too. You know, jump back jab, pretty risk averse. You get a little bit of damage, not the max potential damage on the table, but you're still out of the situation. And speaking of, he put Prototype in a different situation. The reset on their side.
Oh, man. Oh, tried to go to get him with the Cien, but wasn't expecting Prototype to backdash. He has no kunai now, and that is a problem.
But how much of a threat is it?
Again. So remember, in case you guys don't know, the stop literally has a flag that it cannot hit airborne opponents. That is why jumping is so safe against that and the stun gun headbutt, which of course is a throw, which if you're jumping, you can't be thrown.
Would it be able to dodge an air kunai though? Because it is invulnerable to projectiles. No?
I want to say yes, but like I can't remember how much of a projectile the kunai counts as, because you can punch the kunai, right?
Fair.
So I have to test that. Ooh, here comes Prototype. Are we gonna get one of these classic Twitter highlight Alex comebacks here? Oh no,
Not today.
Not gonna happen, cause Lightyear is gonna take out Prototype and saying, look, I don't care about any Alex buffs. I just care about my Ibuki buffs. I am good. I am back to my V-Trigger 1, and I am taking this game over Prototype.
In a very significant game at that, right? Seeing some of the changes from Ibuki, the different routes she can take, and the fact that the bomb is back. I love seeing this version of Ibuki. I genuinely do, because you get so many more mix-up opportunities, and it's such a scramble every time. I do like a little mayhem in the morning, but as it stands right now, Cuz Lightyear taking it down 2-0. He has to face off against XSK in the second round of losers.
Dude, I'm absolutely ecstatic with the way that Capcom has, managed to make it so that they really balanced out the decision between V-Triggers 1 and 2 and V-Skill 1 and 2 for a lot of characters. Right. They actually made Chun-Li's V-Skill 2 look kind of neat now. They've actually given...
I love it, actually.
Dude,
yeah, the Hazanshu.
Dude, people in the Lucia, in like our little secret Lucia...
no secret no more.
Yeah, I know, right? We've even been talking about her V-Skill 2 as well, because that thing was kind of useless before. But as you can see here, look at the bomb mix-ups, and that one was just to extend the combo.
Yeah.
Probably could have got that fuzzy guard there. And Prototype was starting to get through over here, but you could see Cuz Lightyear got the life all the way down, and that neutral jump was able to punish there. And here we go, the double mix-up, another bomb into the other side again.
Jeez.
So just a good sequence, draining a ton of life off of Prototype. And then Prototype here, this was his last chance here, his last run, but it wasn't going to happen here. Just got hit too many times. And Cuz Lightyear moves on.
Just mixing them back and forth a couple of times. We saw some of the buffs that happened from both characters, but one of the ones that we saw earlier, again, Ibuki getting a initial hit off of the EX command dash was super sick. We get to see a lot of that, although it may not be like the biggest set of damage, but you still get that corner carry, which is pretty significant.
Yeah, and again, it's like they did a lot of little things like that, and my favorite thing about that is it just opened up the routes. Like there's so many different ways to get juggles and such, and they thought about them carefully too, because a lot of times one of them will be for damage, one of them will be for Oki, one of them will, they kind of did a good job keeping it so that there's reasons to switch between the different routes as well. And I think that's really cool. It's one of my favorite things about this current Definitive Edition patch is these kind of routes that they gave to all the characters.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. And we get to see it again a little bit more from Birdie than Balrog, if anything. It's going to be Mataoha versus Upchain Lord, a.k.a. Jordan, who's been pretty much running through the entirety of his pools with Birdie, and he made sure to let the world know on social media. I made it through top 16, all Birdie, baby. And I'm like, I was looking at the patch notes, I'm like, I don't know if Birdie got hit that hard. I feel like but then again, I'm not.
He definitely got a couple of nice little buffs as well. Like his standing heavy punch could be charged now, so it's harder to tell how to whiff punish, the timing to whiff punish it and such. But interesting, on the opposite end, Mataoha is going with the boxer, the Balrog, who did get nerfed a little bit.
In terms of V-Skill 2 usage, right? There's still going to be a bunch of neat stuff that Balrog got, especially off of the dash swing low now.
Yes.
Being able to get that more consistently off of a screw upper. V-Skill 2 is still going to be used in terms of like, not for free. He still has to earn some of the charges.
Right.
There is like significant charge up off the startup of it, I think. So you can't really get it off like a target combo going into it and get any sort of pressure after that. But I want to see what Mataoha is going to use for this particular matchup. I'd imagine he'd still try to use V-Skill 2 against Birdie.
And it's interesting because I mean, like even with Brian F., who's obviously one of the more prolific boxer players out there, you know, I've seen him kind of talk about. I don't think he says that he feels like boxers really significantly, you know, hurt.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, this character was obviously doing super well. He fought last year's meta really, really well, and so that's why we saw a lot of boxers qualifying for Capcom Cup. So, you know, I'm assuming Japan probably looked at that, and Capcom Japan was like, okay, let's go ahead and tweak them a little bit. But again, I feel like a lot of the characters that did get nerfs also got like a few small buffs here and there. Like you said, like his dash low now can juggle after certain situations, so he can save V triggers and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And again, a lot of this analysis came from Bafael. So again, shout outs to him. So check that out.
I was just thinking, well, we're not even going to see it, unfortunately, but I was thinking about V-Skill 2, right? The fact that you could only get the dash punch, like the cancelable dash punch, the one without the charge, after a normal, it's pretty good for the buffer game that Balrog has. Now he has to walk forward and throw some of these normals out and buffer a dash punch behind it. That's a pretty good stealth buff, if you ask me.
Exactly.
Ooh.
And now
Maybe not a stealth buff. I guess that's not the word I want to use. But either way, go on, James.
Like kind of like a lateral shift kind of thing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's always what you want to see when you see characters tweaked. If they're strong and you do nerf a bunch of them, give them small little toys here and there.
Yeah, but like it just makes that option more consistent. I feel like. So Mata Oha now, after that target combo, just going in up chain, pretty much down bad right now in the corner.
Ooh, nice. Here we go. Opportunity here. Going to get the activation here. Has the V trigger 2 activated. But again, Mata Oha with the big lead, and you can see what Mata Oha's doing. That distance I was just going to talk about, he is keeping himself at that magic distance of that light dash punch, because that's pay dirt. You see right there how the light kick whiffed after the dash punch? That is exactly why Mata Oha wants that range, because the dash jab punch is not going to be punishable.
Oh my god, the screw up anti-air. You love to see it. Mata Oha still within range. Up chain has not had a chance to really fire back.
Yeah, up chain, one of his big mistakes right now is he's holding down back, I think, a little bit too much. He's got to walk back and forth a little bit more. You have to be harder to predict for Balrog. If you stay still, then that light dash punch is going to be just basically murder you.
You can see the advanced movement on defense from Mata Oha, right? He did get hit on Wake Up, but that was an option where he actually jumped to get that air reset, and now he's using the V-shift as well. He just steals away all the momentum, but this is going to be great. Up chain now. Speaking of momentum, he's... I was going to say, maybe EX command grab?
Yeah. If he
The
was
overhand's not enough. He tries to do it again, but out of range. Mata Oha is definitely going to finish it out with that game ender that confirmed off of the whiff punish against the second over. That was way too far out.
Yeah.
Man.
And it's just one of those situations right there, you know, where if you're going to try to go for the throw, maybe, yeah, sure enough, if you went for the regular throw and he jumped, you could still anti-air him, but the command throw probably would have killed in that situation.
I think so. I think maybe like command grab or even, ooh, that's a cool costume. Or even, sorry, wait a minute. Akira?
Yeah,
Seth?
Akira.
Super sick. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe EX command grab would have. I think it would have killed.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen how much damage that thing does, but
Oh,
again,
yeah.
you know, I'm not trying to critique Upchain here. Obviously, he's a 10 times better player
It's
than
food
I
for
am.
thought is what it is.
Right,
Like,
exactly.
there's different options that you could have maybe thought about. It's like, would that have killed, right? So your infamous line.
Yeah, maybe.
Punishable. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Mata Oha.
Okay. Okay, expecting something, maybe wake up armor. Actually, he didn't
I
have
don't
the
think he
meter
didn't
for
need
wake.
it for it. So I was curious for what Mata Oha was thinking now. Within throw range for the kill, he knew it as well. V-reversal keeping locked down, but still, you cannot dash up against this man. V-shift is going to get nothing out of it.
Yeah, it got canceled into the V-trigger activation. Remember, even though they dodged, there's still a cancel point there. Oof. Ow, ow. God, not quite enough to kill, but now just what? Oh, my! The deer in headlights. Upchain getting the EX Dolphin Dive to catch Mata Oha off guard.
From up chain to up dolphin saying, what's up, dog?
Oh, man.
Ooh.
There you go. There's that range again from Mata Oha's keeping that range. And yeah, so what's happening there is that Upchain's trying to neutral jump to blow up the light dash punch. But Mata Oha's just sitting there waiting for the neutral jump and defeating it with the screw upper. And now when you're in the corner, obviously, hard to control your spacing from the opponent, so you're more at the mercy of the offensive character's spacing. There,
You can see some of the experience coming in from Matsuoha as well. Oh boy.
I think that time he held the heavy
did.
punch and it hurt him.
It definitely did, yeah. Oh, no. Matsuoha, I was going to say, a man of experience in the matchup, right? There were certain instances where he opted to go for the throw to continue the pressure. You saw Upchain actually utilize one of the EX bars for armor, thinking that Matsuoha was going to pursue with more normals, but that wasn't the case. And Upchain still has not found his way in against Matsuoha in the neutral. He's been bullied into this corner so many times over.
Right. But you see right there, I mean, like I said, Upchain, he spends a lot of time crouch blocking. And when you're crouch blocking, you're not moving. And it's one of the safest ways to play. You feel comfortable because you're blocking, but that just means the opponent always knows how far he is from you.
I mean, safe is one thing, but it's also a false sense of security, right? Even though you're blocking and not taking as much potential damage, right? You're still forcing yourself in these bad scenarios in the corner, right? Matsuoha doesn't have to move as much to chase you down anymore. He can just lock you down exactly like this. Stay in the same spots because of the fact that you have nowhere to back up to.
And you see it. Every time Matsuoha even gets in, he immediately just backs back to that distance again. He is literally playing that distance. Like, see, there it is. Backs up, and he just goes back over there again. And, you know, I've often said this about Balrog, but the key to fighting him is to try to get close enough to block the light punch, so light dash punch, so you can punish it with a forward frame normal, or get to a range where it whiffs, so you can whiff punish it. But the problem is, if you're trapped in the corner, then there's that dash punch, perfect distance all day.
To be fair, Upchain actually had the right idea. He wanted to try to bait up a dash punch with a neutral jump, which is a classic strat against Balrog, right?
Oh, the dolphin again!
Boy.
Okay. Upchain has a chance. Oh, I like the
that would have been so sick, but no.
No, that was so good, but it just didn't pay off the way that he wanted to. He didn't commit to the V break either, so he did not have the timing to punish it on just the V shift itself. And unfortunately, Upchain, the birdie run is going to end here. Matsuoha, however, a very strong player here in the West Coast region. But shout outs to Upchain Lord for making it all the way out here to the top 16 with that birdie. Very, very cool stuff.
Oh, and that's going to be a WNF classic right there. Danga Diaz versus Matsuoha, and it's not going to be within for the top 3. That's actually pretty exciting. But yeah, I mean, it sounded like we were a little biased against Matsuoha towards the end, but the fact of the matter is, we've seen Matsuoha plenty of times. We're not trying to disrespect him at all. We both think he's a fantastic player. It's our first time actually seeing Upchain, in my opinion, or actually in my experience. I haven't really seen Upchain in a top 16, really, so it was cool to see that name and see that play, and it would have been really cool to see it kind of go down to the wire, but as it stands right now, Matsuoha sweeps it up 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, one of the strongest boxer players, one of my favorite players to watch from the West Coast region. So, you know, shout outs to Matsuoha for continuing forward through here. But once again, just kind of want to remind everybody that we do have the Street Fighter duel game coming out on mobile platforms here. As you can see, again, the artwork for this game has been absolutely fantastic. I love it. And this is, of course, the Capcom authorized mobile game. And it is now available for download in China. And as we've always mentioned, the global version is coming soon. We promise. We swear it's coming soon. So, you know, the epic legend is reborn on mobile. Download Street Fighter Duel so you can also experience the time to fly and join all the other fighters and on the journey with millions of other players to become the best fighter.
And by the time it comes out, I'm pretty sure you will all memorize the song at this point. If you guys have been enjoying yourselves, you guys pretty much listen to it every CPT. In fact, you might even hear it again in next weekend's CPT event, right? The next CPT online event takes place in the UK/Ireland region. And again, the registration is now currently open. It's going to be closing soon, so you don't want to miss your chance to compete in this region. After the CPT for UK and Ireland event concludes, we're going to have another one immediately after that with France, Spain, and Portugal, weekend of May 14th. Again, the registration is now active, so you guys do not want to miss this. If you guys want to check it out, again, all the scheduling, all the information, go to CapcomProTour.com.
Yeah, and then followed, you can see, by the Midwest. So we'll definitely get a preview of that side of things.
That's going to be right after Combo Breaker.
That's right.
I
We'll
cannot wait.
In other words, that'll be already when they're deflated after getting bopped by the way. Oh, I'm sorry.
You think so? I would just.
Sorry,
listen, I'm waiting to see what happens. I'm waiting to see what happens.
I mean, look, no neutral guys. They're two Midwest boys, right? We're both West Coast boys. We gotta talk about our West Coast boys here, right?
I just want to see some Street Fighter. I want to see the mayhem ensue, no matter what region.
Fair. Well, we still have some more mayhem to ensue here, so don't go anywhere. It'll be taking place right after this break.
Time to fly, time to fly. Never give up, we won't retreat. The ones who stand have turned defeat. So fly, time to fly. Glory waits for those who fight. We unite, we are street fighters.
flying right back into it with the North American West qualifier for the Capcom Pro Tour 2022. Vicious back at it again with James Chen to continue all of the action with the West Coast players that have been beating down each other since we started the day out. Again, if you guys happen to miss it, we do have the VODs pretty much ready for you on all streaming platforms, as well as the bracket. Let's take a look at how it all went down earlier from the winner's side and who we already established for the top 8, right? Again, for the loser's side, actually, we're going to go right into that. Cuz Lightyear took down Prototype 2-0. Mata Oha, in a very, very meticulous manner, took down Upchain 2-0. We still have plenty more to go. We see Hilux and White Gun gearing up and getting ready to go, as well as Alex Myers versus Jot.
Yeah, and Hilux, if I'm not mistaken, Luke player going up against White Gun, who's been playing Ibuki for quite some time here. And again, we already saw with Cuz Lightyear how much, having some more toys with Ibuki has paid off for him. So can we get 2 Ibukis into this next round of the losers bracket here? Again, we have not quite gotten into the top 8 on the loser side. You can see that round 2 all has to play out. So XSK, Danka Diaz, Flaquito, and Chris CCH, who all lost on the winner side earlier today, are all just chilling here waiting to get into the top 8.
Can you say that again? XSK, Dank Diaz, Flaquito, and Chris CCH on the loser's side?
Yes.
I literally turned my head towards James as he was reading the losers. I'm like, you got to say that for me again, brother. That is ridiculous.
It's not fun. It is not fun. So for Cuz and Mata Oha, and for the winner between Hilux and White Gun and Alex Myers and Jot, it's not a fun road. But again, a lot of these players, have been in this environment a lot and have been, throwing down all over the place. So I'm excited to see how these next 2 matches here on the losers bracket's going to go. And again, it's going to be Hilux with the Luke going up against White Gun with the Ibuki.
A little bit of lore with both players. I've had the opportunity to play against Hilux a bunch of times in ranked Street Fighter 5. When we were both Karen mains, right? We actually went back and forth, and we hated each other because of the way that we played. I'd play pretty dirty on ranked, and he plays super solid, right? Sometimes he'll throw the dirty stuff too, and sometimes take what I would do to him, and vice versa, right? And then eventually we were just like, man, you're pretty fun to play against. He's like, yeah, you too. I never got to meet the guy, but I've definitely messaged him. I'm like, damn, your Karen's pretty good. It was one of those exchanges. And then White Gun, on the other hand, also long-time Street Fighter player, multiple versions of Street Fighter, right? Third Strike, Street Fighter 4, as well as Ibuki in 5, right? I don't think he played Ibuki in 3S, but he definitely played Ibuki a lot in 4.
Yes.
And he's continuing that with
from
Street Fighter
Canada, 5. I think it is.
That's correct.
Yeah, Canada player.
Can't remember where exactly from Canada, but indeed from
I'm going to assume it's on the west side of Canada.
Well, I mean, not the entire time. I feel like there was.
Right.
I don't know where he had moved from, but now he's currently in the west.
But honestly, that interaction that you have with Hilux is one of my favorite things about fighting games. You play someone, you're like, God, I hate this guy, and then you keep playing, you're like, actually,
he's pretty cool.
Pretty good. He's pretty good. You know what? You want to get some sense? You want
to play a first to 10?
Yeah.
He's super fun guy to play against. Actually, both players, right? I think being able to play against someone like Hilux as well as someone like White Gun, very, very knowledgeable, actually, both players. And we see how much they've progressed, right? In different, entirely different age groups, right? 25 and 36, still being able to make it into the top 16.
What are you talking about? Same age group to me, extremely young, right? So
I'm right in the middle.
No, I mean, again, it's really cool to see the difference in ages. We've been seeing a lot of this stuff happening in the FGC. The veterans going up against the youth, and it's just again, it's exciting because at one point in time, I mean, seriously, we talk about there's always been the talk of the history of the fighting game, dark ages at that one point in time, and really, honestly, it felt like there weren't any new young players coming into the scene.
No, definitely not. It was very stagnant.
Yeah,
and most people would be like, fighting games, what?
And then Street Fighter 4 happened. And you know what else just happened? We're actually not getting Ibuki.
Word? We're getting the Cammy pick?
We're getting a Cammy pick from White Gun, which kind of
which makes sense. I mean, he's played this character a good amount of times as well.
for sure.
But
So-
I would have thought, maybe he enjoyed himself with the Ibuki buffs and will try to use it again.
And that's the thing too, is like I feel like with some of the Ibuki buffs, and she still has some of the dirty mix-ups that can really kind of wipe away a character's advantages, like Luke, right? If you could just put him in the mix, and then that's the end of it. But Cammy definitely also still a very solid character. But both of these characters did get health and stun nerfs this season, or this patch, I should say.
Yeah.
Oh, still landed and recovered in time to get that DP out.
Using that sandblaster as well to continue.
Yep.
The V-Trigger 1, I should say.
Yeah, but unfortunately now it's a little, the meter doesn't sit there and it doesn't recover as quickly as it used to.
Yeah, it's significantly slower, right? But if he lands some hits, man,
no,
EX
he did
rocket up.
He did it, and White Gun did not believe, and there you go. There's that impetuousness of the youth right there. Knows no fear, just bust out the EX uppercut.
If it works, it works, to be honest with you. Yep.
Oh yeah,
like
that's
that.
gonna get anti-air for sure, and too far away for that knee bullet.
I'm surprised he didn't go for like the back strong option to kind of create that mix-up opportunity afterwards. But the way that Hylix has been playing, showing that fearlessness in him, I don't blame White Gun for going for the uppercut anti-air.
But finally gets out of that corner with the V reversal, so he doesn't have the V trigger for that crouching heavy punch after it connected. But he put himself into that corner with the cross-up jump light kick, and sometimes you get kind of married to that idea of trying to get that cross-up, and you put yourself in the corner, and it's not good. Oh,
and he just
so
does it
fast.
And it's so good.
I mean, he had the trigger. He had the trigger. Cammy had the trigger with the projectile invul drill all ready to go. But you know what? It's just so fast. It's so hard to react to.
Yeah. We saw that sequence really happen with the significant nerf that Cammy had to her medium kicks, right? We saw that low medium kick get punished by Hylix, which led to that entire scenario in the first place, right? So we're starting to see it really come to fruition, or at least see how different Cammy has to play. She's not allowed to whiff anything anymore.
Yeah, so both her and Karin got this significant nerf on their crouching medium kicks. But again, those are some of the best crouching medium kicks in the game, and some of the best players out there aren't going to be whiffing them all that much anyway. Yes. And you know what? Hylix says, I don't care if you're going to whiff it or not. I'm just not even going to let you press the button. I'm just going to come at you full steam ahead and put myself at match point.
Speaking of full steam ahead, Hylix is playing in a whole different demeanor, right? Way more offensive. Look at the. I like that idea.
Yeah. That's one of the hardest things. It's hard to neutral jump that dive kick for that reason.
Super difficult.
Yeah, and here comes White Gun trying to get. Oh no, but he jumps himself into the corner again.
That's kind of tough.
No, that's punishable. And now Hylix here getting the momentum all the way to the corner. And a ton of resources too. Okay.
Does get the counter hit conversion, or at least activation into the trigger. Either way, there was some significant scaling, but it's going to be just fine. White Gun now in hot pursuit. This is going to be unfortunate.
Oh, that might. Is he going to super? No, he's going to save it. He's going to just spend an EX and just keep himself being a threat.
He didn't even actually have the bar in that very moment. Actually, it was unfortunate, but Hylix actually was just a little bit shy from having the the critical.
Oh, he wasn't going to try to do the drill right there. It might have been too late.
If White Gun lands the drill, oh my God, you could have whiff punished that.
I know.
I can't believe Hylix. I don't even know why he went for that overhead.
Oh, he missed the dive kick, and actually Hylix had missed the button. No, White Gun with a couple of errors, execution errors, and that's going to allow Hylix to take it. But I mean, it was right there.
Hylix gave him an out. Yeah. He gave him an out by whiffing a normal from that far. He whiffed the overhead too. He whiffed an overhead 3/4 of the screen. White Gun did have an opportunity to punish with the drill while in trigger.
Right, and then he jumped and messed up his dive kick. Did it too early, whiffed the jump heavy kick when Hylix whiffed a ground hit. And then at the end there, he just...
That's rough.
Yeah, it was just a series of unfortunate events.
Yeah, as my man Yipes would say, it is what it is. In that exact demeanor, Alex Myers now gearing up against Jot. in just a bit, right? We're going to talk about Hylex and White Gun PC just a little bit more, right? Now it all unfolded, right? We saw a little bit of reluctancy from ways of Hylex and how he played in the first game to kind of feel out his opponent. I don't know if we're going to get that replay either way, but as it stands right now, Hylex knows exactly what he needed to do to turn it on offensively and pretty much get in White Gun's head. We saw the kind of change in demeanor in terms of how they played, pretty much like switch around. Like the way that Hylex played, he was playing a little bit more defensive. That happened to switch up to White Gun immediately after White Gun suffered that loss. So that was really interesting to see. I wanted to see more of that explosiveness from White Gun in the way that he plays. So we didn't get to see that in his Cammy at all, unfortunately. But would love to see him again down the line, if it's not in a CPT event, just maybe in an offline event down the line with that Ibuki.
Yep, absolutely. And again, you know, it's cool to see the kind of character variety, you know, that hopefully we'll be able to see throughout all this year. Coming up next match here, Alex Myers and Jai. Alex Myers, I'm assuming, probably still with the Chun-Li at this point.
I wouldn't be surprised if he switched it up a little bit, but it is going to be the Chun-Li.
Okay.
And Jot, that is a significant change.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be Minot.
Yeah, I guess maybe he's picking up the Luke here. But one thing I do want to point out, though, you know, the controller, Alex Myers, was a player who has definitely suffered from a lot of physical ailments from the way that he used the controller and had trouble with that. Going with the ergo box now, kind of like a hit box, but on its side a little bit. You know how you have the vertical mice so you keep your hand in that. So now the hitbox buttons are also kind of aligned vertically as well as the buttons, and so it keeps your hand in a natural position. So again, it's just really cool. I mean, you see Jot with a hitbox. I know someone else was using a snap box, someone was using a joystick, someone was using a pad, and so a lot of times people always ask you like, hey James, you know, for Street Fighter, you know, what controller should I use? It's like, use whatever feels good for you.
It's wild because some people would be like, would I rather use a pad or would I use a fight stick? You know, some of the best players use both. Like some of the best players in the world happen to use a PlayStation pad, right? So you could go and pretty much do your best with either peripheral. And one of the things I did like about the ergo box and the hitbox, right? It's allowed for so many more players to be more versatile as the years go by, right? I mean, I definitely suffer from that kind of same ailment a little bit. I'm starting to feel it more and more.
Dang.
I'm definitely starting to feel it more and more. So I have to hit up Ultra Daisy for that, by the way, because he splits in two. A modified hitbox. Super sick.
He made his own controller, okay?
Amazing, by the way. Let's talk about this matchup real quick. So I want to highlight Jot's pick with Luke. It makes a lot of sense because his training partners are Chris CCH, Hylex as well. They're all in the same kind of group, and I wouldn't be surprised. You know, we have 3 Lukes here. Actually, 4 technically, because XSK is also playing Luke.
Right.
So it's been a very Luke-esque kind of top 16 thus far.
And look at this. Alex Myers is indeed using the Hazanshu.
Perfect.
Okay, I want to see what kind of new juice he has with that. But, you know, Chun-Li, obviously, she's always been one of the best in footsies. Great range on her normals and such. And so, you know, she might be able to help kind of mitigate the advantage that Luke has on some of Luke's normals.
Yeah. And one of the biggest things, too, the nerfs against Chun-Li is the fact that they made her heavier normals way easier to whiff punish just like that.
Like that, yep. Exactly. Thank you guys for demonstrating that for us, you know.
Listening in.
The Wake Up EX, just gonna do it. Oof. Okay. Ooh, did not get frame trap. Nice patience right there from Alex. Ooh, Alex is sitting on a lot of trigger right now, and he hasn't done anything with it yet.
Oh, he's about to, and it's gonna be for the win, actually.
Yeah.
It's as if you called it.
Yeah, thank you again for demonstrating. No, I'm just kidding. They're following the script to a T right now. Next that's going to happen is a whip punish into the EX. No, I'm just kidding.
My favorite is, is this recorded? After we call something right.
I know.
Come on, man.
Yep, going to be able to link out of that. It's one of the best things about that button to fish with. Counter hit, but I actually didn't get anything out of that. That was interesting. I thought that he was going to be able to link out of that, especially as a counter.
And I do like this. I will say from Alex Myers, he actually forced Jot to get that activation out. He dashed up and just waited. He wanted to force that activation instead of getting it as an opening and taking more damage. Ooh.
Oh my goodness.
He's still able to whiff punish that?
Oh man.
Oh,
Again,
my.
those buttons from Luke. And he His buttons are deceptive. They don't look like they reach as far as they do, but it's just the forward movement that he has on a lot of them.
We can't say the buttons on Luke when he's facing off against the queen of buttons.
Exactly. But look at this. Jot now with the rush down here in the corner. You got to hold those plus frames. And Alex trying to fight his way out of the corner. Oh, God. Just blocked the jump. Didn't have the anti-air. Not a good trade. And now the crush. And he... Oh, no. A drop combo from Jot. He held the button too long. But now he gets the throw. And Jot, just like that. Game number 1. That third round was dominating for Jot. And so Jot now coming into game number 2, I think feeling good about himself. Alex Myers really got to figure out a way to counter this. Do you think we might see a character change? He did dabble in some Cammy for a little bit, obviously. He has that Sakura.
I wouldn't be surprised if he did, but I also don't think he did poorly with Chun-Li. I think it was just fine. There were a couple of mishaps that came from a withstand fierce. But for the most part, I think he played it well enough.
Throwing out that standing heavy kick. Of course, can't hit crouchers. Okay, there we go. But just a stand medium kick, not a huge amount of punish. Jot right now doing a good job just kind of playing this patient game, and he's really, really dominating in the neutral right now over Alex. Oh, wait, here's a good opportunity for Alex now. Counter hit, but he didn't go for the EX legs afterwards. Interesting.
Saving the meter, didn't want to even score the knockdown. I feel like I would have been more of an advantageous position for Myers, right? Getting the damage and the Oki, but now it's going to be Jot's turn. He does get the activation off of a block. No anti-air there, but it's going to be a side switch. Even better for Jot.
Yeah, I feel like that lack of a link into the EX lightning legs is what made him do it on block there. Because, you know, you just kind of like want to make up for it. Oh, well, now you're dead.
Yeah, now you're dead, right?
All right, so Jot with some strong domination here, winning multiple rounds in a row. Just one round away now from taking this over. Alex too early on the throw. He hadn't landed yet.
A little awkward there. He's going to confirm off the crouching light kick. And Myers still another awkward instance. Jot getting the most of it. The Avenger getting that juggle point as well. Or excuse me, getting the juggle for the Oki and the corner carry at that.
There's those plus frames. Wow, just side swipe with that TP. Oh, he wanted that throw. Nice whip punish from Alex here. Has an opportunity, goes for the reset, tries to catch a backdash, but Jot remaining very calm and staying down on the ground.
This is such a dangerous position for Myers. It could have been an uppercut from Jot. Wasn't ready for it. Watch out for the Sandbuster. Watch out for the trigger from 3/4. That could have been so dangerous had he confirmed it. Just a moment away for Jot.
Oh, now it's just a tight.
Oh, the overhead block.
Why would you go for that kind of a risk?
Why not, James? Why not?
Oh, and that's why not.
I should have said why, Jot. Why?
That's why you don't go for something like that.
I meant to say why, Jot. Why?
I mean, if it had landed, it would have been like he's a genius kind of thing,
fair,
you know?
Fair.
But, you know, good block from Alex and the comeback there. And now, is that the power-up that Alex might need here to kind of just all of a sudden like, you know what? This is meant to be. It's my game. Oh, try to go for the air-to-air jump heavy punch. Oh. Okay, there we go. Jot getting his anti-airs back, his anti-air groove back.
You see Alex Myers it's so distracting the way he moves about in neutral, but it hasn't really deterred Jot one bit.
Yeah, and it is one of the advantages of having one of those button controllers. It's easier to do that kind of wiggle walk, basically. All right.
The no chaser. Overfierce afterwards, gets a forward throw now. This is going to be very dangerous for Myers. If Jot gets confirmed. Oh, I lied. No, he's using 2 EXs already.
Yeah, that's right. He spent his meter, and oh no! Oh, okay. Actually, he gets a link here.
But is it enough to scale it? And it's gonna be enough.
Oh, and look at this. Like I said, that previous round was enough maybe to give Alex Myers that kind of, all right, no, it's like that comeback, that movie comeback moment. You're on the ground, it's slow motion, they blur the audio, you know, and you see the guy like thinking, and he flashes back to when his master's been training him, and then he gets up, and that's that
what
moment.
Movie is this, James?
I don't know.
Okay.
Every movie.
Every time I think about comebacks, I always think about Rocky IV.
Oh, yeah.
See, you cut him. He's not a machine. He's a man. I'm seeing 3 of them out there. Hit the one in the middle. It's a classic, man. It's always a classic.
Absolutely. God. But that would almost be in favor of Luke, right? I mean, we're fighting in the ring. He's got
That's
the USA jersey and everything like
that's
that.
true.
So, it's kind of a...
Maybe. But either way, Alex Myers does make it out alive. And that was so scary, too. You saw
Right.
the Avenger coming out from Jot, just miscalculated or a little overzealous with it, I should say, is more accurate. And that's the kind of morale booster that Alex Myers strives off of.
Yes, exactly. I want to say that like Alex is very much a momentum, kind of emotional kind of player, right? So once things are going well, he's very, very
Feels
strong.
that, yeah.
Yeah, but I heard the gasp, and that is because Jot has gone back to the Manat.
Oh, boy.
Oh, I thought that was going to be a punish for sure. There's that Hazanchu. We barely saw him use it at all in the previous match. But we already see it used once here for Alex.
And I love that. Just being able to absorb the fireball. Oh, boy.
Oh, the double dash and nothing from Jot. Oh, you jump back towards the orb. Interesting.
And that's going to be just fine. I mean, Myers is still moving around this orb placement no matter what. Jot has not really made a threat with some of the orb placements, or at least some of the block swings going into orb. There hasn't been enough to deter Alex Myers from going forward. We've literally seen 2 sequences where he's double dashed against Jot after the orb has been released.
And this is tough right here because now Jot might be fighting the regret, like, I should have stuck with Luke. You get that thought into your head. So let's hopefully Jot can fight around that right now and not be too affected by that situation. So here we go. It's a good sequence for Jot now. Doing a good job trying to keep Alex out. But Alex just has good spacing and range on when to all of a sudden shift to forward movement and find that poke in there.
It's pretty impressive, actually, just knowing full well when to go forward. But Jot, he's starting to switch it up a little bit, right? He does have this life, and he's actually pursuing forward.
And almost has the V trigger on deck as well. Didn't get a chance to do much with the trigger last round. Oh boy! Dash and
You can't anti-air.
Go in, yeah.
Oh boy, this is one of the biggest things you have to do against Manat, is defend against the orbs. And Myers has done a great job already.
Yeah.
Down to 1. Jot barely has a life lead.
more orbs.
And this is
There
going to
you
be
go.
pretty good for Myers, stealing it back little by little.
And he's got the life lead here, which is why you see Jot.
Too high!
No, that's too high, yeah. Not going to be enough to kill. He didn't have to meet it for the EX, but he's going to get the heavy punch. And sure enough, Alex Myers going to survive that match. And off of blocking that single overhead and get out of this first round losers bracket. Now, obviously, it's great for Alex, but you know who he has to fight next, right?
Who?
Chris CCH.
Oh, boy. If it ain't one Luke, it's another. if you ask me.
Exactly.
I got to say, man, Jot, there was a little unfamiliarity with that matchup, I feel like. There was certain instances where that last one, for example, he recalled the orb in front of Alex Myers.
Right,
Or in front
yeah.
of, no, let me rephrase. He recalled the orb in front of Chun-Li.
And I mean, that might have been one of those situations where Alex, as soon as he saw that Manat pick, he was probably like, oh good, okay, I'll fight this character, Because you can see right here, Jot doing so well here. He has the 1-0 lead. Look at this life lead that he has. Look at this huge lead that he has. But then here comes Alex Myers. And then that's there is the block. And then we go into this sequence here. And all Alex needs is one more mix-up. And he chases the V-shift. What a call-out on the V-shift.
Oh, so smart for Myers, too. And it all went downhill after that. Yeah, it does get the full conversion. There's just one hit that he needed while having V-trigger, one of the biggest threats possible.
Yeah, and then the Manat just was not able to do much there. Unfortunately, Alex did not have a leader for the EX, but it didn't matter. Just walked up, standing heavy punch to take it. Alex Myers advances forward in the loser side. And again, that sets up round number 2 of the losers bracket. And it will be Cuz Lightyear going up against XSK.
We gotta say it.
We
XSK.
have Mata Oha going up against Denka Diaz. We have Hylex going up against Flaquito. and then Alex Myers going up against Chris CCH. This is a killer round 2. Those players who came from the winner side, remember we said the winner side top 16 was like a who's who of the West Coast players here. And so any one of those players getting shifted here into the loser side would have just been like, oh man, I won my first round. Now I got to fight one of these guys.
Yeah, and it's something that we haven't really seen before up until this year, right? I mean, Filipino Man and Mortzi, Rose and Fong going into the top 8 for one of the strongest regions in the world, right? That's not even just bias. I feel like, again, the Pacific Northwest has been really making themselves known, but this season, the definitive patch has really kind of shaken things up, and we're starting to see it little by little. But as it stands right now, we still have plenty more to go through here in the loser side.
Yeah, so the first match that we are going to get is Cuz Lightyear, who did defeat who did defeat Prototype pretty well with that Ibuki, and now XSK here, who did end up losing to JB. Like I said, I feel like JB's kind of had XSK's number for a little bit for the past few times that I've seen them play against each other. Like I said, JB, not necessarily, knowing the matchups, it's like he's knowing the human matchup. Like I said, JB was able to play the clock against XSK, win that one round by timeout and such. But XSK now going to be taking that Luke up against Cuz Lightyear's Ibuki. So we'll see how this goes.
And one of the biggest questions we had in regards to how XSK was playing, one of them was, I'm surprised, or like, why hasn't he gone back to Ryu, right? Like that's, I feel like that is still his character.
So good.
He's so fun to play.
I mean, let's put it this way. Maybe it was at the end of last season that Mikey decided to start learning Luke, and maybe during the course of this year he's going to be transitioning back to Ryu. Unfortunately, I think this is the only NA West qualifier, so that's probably why he was sticking with Luke without changing to a new character just yet.
It's one of those things where Luke was so strong in the previous season, right? You would think, okay, well, this is going to be a really good bet to keep on, right? Keep on, good investment to really stay and practice.
Exactly.
With. But at the same time, it's like Ryu got significantly buffed as well. I think the fact that everybody else got buffed doesn't make Luke the one that stands out the most.
Right.
Sure, you're going to say, what are you talking about, Vicious? There's literally 4 Lukes in the top 16, right? It's still the first CPT event.
Right, exactly.
Right? It's still mad early.
I mean, the later and later we get through the year, I wouldn't be surprised how many Ryus we will start seeing crop out and start doing some major damage.
And either way, if it happens, it happens. It's still a fun conversation either way. Like, I would love to see how it progresses with the amount of Lukes that pretty much pop up and pretty much dissipate if it happens towards the end. Or towards the end of the year, I should say.
Oh, nice. Yeah, what side? And you know what? Cuz Lightyear might not even have known himself what side that was going to be.
He doesn't need to, and that's the beauty of it. He doesn't need to.
All right, so now XSK trying to get a shimmy out of Cuz Lightyear. Trying to get a whiff throw out of him, I should say. Cuz Lightyear now with this pressure. Yeah, that's a safe overhead because it's a longer startup than most. And there's the classic Mikey right there, the empty jump into crouching medium kick, and held the button a little too long. Didn't get the combo. Okay.
I wonder what's going to be the option. EX kunai, is it?
Oh, yeah, beautiful.
Enough?
And look at that, the bomb juggling out of the air.
That's more than enough. He spent so many resources. He kept that man in the air, too. That was pretty neat.
Oh, man, he was juggling bombs and Lukes at the same time.
I like that.
Nicely done for Cuz Lightyear. What an awesome way to finish that last round.
This guy's the real deal, and I love it.
Showing off some of those Ibuki bugs.
What? That was a really funky interaction. I thought it was going to be XSK getting to the other side, but either way, brings it back to mid-screen with that offensive sequence, I should say.
You know what's funny? They changed Luke's forward jumping animation, and I never noticed because the other one just looked so odd that this one is so natural that I don't even notice it. Oh, okay.
That was the most XSK thing that could have happened.
And now guess what? Mix-up time. What side? I like the V-shift option. Oh, I think Cuz Lightyear tried to do a kunai there or something like that. Didn't get it. Gets the anti-air DP. Now just needs one more hit. The throw is going to do it, tying it up 1-1.
And that was such a dangerous scenario. XSK did have a significant life lead, but I think had Cuz Lightyear stopped him in his tracks, like interrupted the dash, I think he would have had enough meter to maybe kill.
Oh, God, the delayed meaty got the counter hit.
Oh, and the delayed meaty again.
And so he's got the stun now. All the meter. Luke does gobs of damage. Yes, there's a lot of scaling here. Never. Oh, I just commentator Kristen.
Oh,
Midline. Okay,
God,
okay.
the damage and the 7 golden letters. You hate to see it. Actually, you love to see it. XSK Samurai making quick work of that third round against Cuz Light. You're sending him off into space, no pun intended. But yeah, again, the delayed normals. I kept saying delayed meaties as well, but delayed normals and fishing for those counter hits has been so efficient still. And with a character like Luke being able to take full advantage of that off of a counter hit, a crouching medium punch counter hit leads to so much.
Yeah, and again, a lot of it, I mean, a lot of it comes from the fact that a lot of his moves move forward. Like, he has that light punch that moves forward, that forward heavy punch and such. So, like, he gets some nice conversions at ranges that it looks like he should be getting. Oh. Nice. Knew he had the time to recover and heavy kick, but look at this. XSK with the check and the confirm towards the corner, plus frames off of that knee. Backs off, and I like just neutral jumping so he doesn't have to be in block stun from the EX Kunai. Too far away for the throw, but with throws like that.
Did you see this man just walk up to him? I have never really noticed Luke's walk speed until that very moment.
Oh, man. He took a walk in the park, man. He was just like, doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo.
He was trying to figure out Central Station. He wanted to make sure he wasn't late to anywhere he needs to be.
Well, he's trying to book his ticket into the top 8 right now. But here comes Cuz Lightyear. He has to win 2 rounds to tie it up, 1 each game. XSK just needs to win 1 more round here in this game.
Oh, that's huge.
Yeah, really early timing on that heavy kick. And yeah, the side switch for Cuz Lightyear wants to get back. And
That's
that
huge
get
again.
another great jump prediction. And yeah, here we go.
The choice to do the crouching jab on Wake Up from XSK was extremely courageous. That could have been death. Oh my God!
That was crazy. I was so unfortunate for Cuz that it didn't hit, but the kunai is gonna catch. And so Cuz Lightyear sniping from far away, staying alive here. Definitely has a chance to take it to a game 3.
And this is such a threat too. Anytime Cuz Lightyear goes to the skies, it could convert it into an EX kunai, and that's why XSK is so reluctant to even try to anti-air.
Ooh, whiffed Rida, but no punish right there from XSK. XSK, we saw this. He had trouble against JB when he got put into the corner here, but he gets his way out with the whiff punish. Okay.
What a block from XSK.
Oh, and again, a whip punish right here for him. I thought that was going to be too late, but he got it in time. Oh, testing. Cuz Lightyear figured that he's just blocking, so he got the throw. And here we go. Oh, man. All right, Cuz Lightyear has a ton of resources, but you know what? You hate to go down with a full V-trigger, a full critical art, and 5 out of 6 kunai in the stock. That is always a tough one to deal with.
He had so many things to kill with.
And unfortunately, that does mean that Cuz Lightyear is out. But shout outs to him performing well here, getting into the top 16, taking out some strong opponents like Prototype along the way. Unfortunately, XSK, too strong of an opponent, and XSK is going to move on the loser side of the top 8. And, you know, I mean, look, I'm not trying to take away the chances of a lot of these other players, but I wouldn't be surprised if our top 16 winners top 8 side, our top 16 winners side ends up being our top 8. Like the 4 players that got sent to losers bracket here, I wouldn't be surprised to see them win all their matches and the top 8 ends up being the same as the winner side of the top 16. But obviously Mata Oha, Hylex, and Alex Myers have something to say about that. But this was a sick combo, by the way.
Yeah, just the juggle and the utilization of the bomb, actually, from Cuz Lightyear. It's just so refreshing to see Ibuki back into the state where she's able to use V-Trigger 1 efficiently.
Yeah, like I said, I can't wait to see, you know, players like Cien and maybe Fujimura try to make a return to this character and see if they can do some damage. I mean, I feel like Cien was the one who kind of invented modern Street Fighter V Ibuki, and then Fujimura was the one who perfected it, you know, and so I would love to see both of those players go back to the character.
Yeah. And although we're seeing that evolution, or I guess not evolution, really. We're seeing a lot of folks really test out the characters that they once had fun with, and go back and really rediscover themselves and figure out, oh man, like this, we have so many more tools now. There's so much more to play with this time around, and that's the beauty of it, right? With this patch, being able to buff significantly buff everybody else that needed it. I will put that in asterisks that needed it, right? Because not everybody got a buff.
Not everybody did,
Right,
but
not
not every
everyone.
character needed one. So that's the fair, right?
Yeah, and it resulted to this, right? We didn't expect this many Lukes, but at the same time, we do see some interesting characters making it slowly into the top 8, right? Just a plethora of characters so far from the first event, and you can see a lot of those characters also possibly in Street Fighter Duel, right? We've been talking about that pretty much the entirety of the CPT, and you know, right now with Street Fighter Duel, the Capcom authorized mobile game is going to be available right now in China, but the global version is coming soon. The epic legend is reborn on mobile. Download Street Fighter Duel now and let's fight each other and join the journey with millions of players to become the best fighter. And I'll tell you what, man, the videos during the break when we saw like the updated versions, I'm like, man, this game is getting sicker and sicker. Can we just get it already?
I know, right?
I would like to play
Release
it now.
date, release date. Come on.
I would love to play it now. Please.
Yeah, but one of the cool things here is they've kind of Capcom decided to add a little bit more like audience participation, rooting for players here, because they have a whole new set of tracksuits for all 45 characters. And the coolest thing about this is you can see that they're going to be purchasable with Fight Money starting on March 29th. They will be available for free at the conclusion of Capcom Pro Tour 2022. But the cool thing about it is each tracksuit will be released for free if a player using that character wins one of the CPT events. So in other words, you know, every time you're watching, you're like, oh, you know what, my favorite character is Balrog, go Brian F, you know, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You're going to be rooting for your player using your characters. And again, with the variety of character buffs that we got and how strong everybody seems to be, this is the perfect season, I feel like, to do this. I mean, you know, like a few seasons ago, we might have started the year off with like 7 Abigail unlocking, you know, at the start of certain seasons. But this season right now, I feel like we have some of the best possibility of unlocking all the different tracksuits, and I think that's really kind of neat.
A lot of incentives going on right now. Again, with that Fight Money as well, you could purchase it if you wanted to. If you didn't want to wait, and if you didn't want to put your money on maybe seeing 11 get a tracksuit, you can just pretty much purchase it from the store, actually, using your Fight Money.
Oh, man. But yeah, shout outs to Capcom for a really, really cool idea with that, and, you know, adding some more of that incentive for people to root for certain characters to win, you know, like unlock my tracksuit, you know. So
we're gonna see Luke coming out first. No,
I'm gonna be rooting for some Xiao Bao here to win with Lucia pretty soon, you know. Let's just put it that way. So
that's very, very true. I want to see a Ryu take down a CPT event just so I could flex that new tracksuit. I went back to the World Warrior, and for very good reason. Man, he is fun to play. But I'll tell you what, right now we still have a pool of sharks going down below. In the loser side is going to be as exciting as ever. The action does not stop except for right now. In just a little bit, we're going to take a small break, but when we return, we're going to see more of the explosive West Coast action right after this.
Time to fight, time to fight. Never give up, we won't retreat. The ones who stand up turn to feast. So fight, time to fight. Glory waits for those who fight. We unite, we are street fighters.
I guess it's time to start warming up. riders have to strike out on their own.
Let's do this.
And here we are at the final stretch of the top 16 for North America West here. We have 3 more matches to go down to find out who's going to be playing tomorrow in the top 8. So you definitely want to follow along at twitch.tv/Capcom Fighters, as well as youtube.com/Capcom Fighters. Make sure you turn on those notifications so you know exactly when we start.
Content creator
You keep
James
looking
Chen.
smiling at me over here.
Wow.
Just this look on your
My
face.
man.
There. And yes, and I am James Chen, joined by my good friend Vicious over here. So, are you ready for this final stretch of action today?
You know, I am, but I'm not at the same time because I'm just about to lose my voice, and for a very good reason, right? If we can take a look at the bracket, let's see down below what's going on in the world of the losers bracket, right in the top 16. Dangadillas versus Mata Oha. That is a Wednesday Night Fights classic where we usually see them in the top 3, but instead it's for their tournament life. Fakito versus Hylex is going to be very, very explosive as well because they are also training partners. Chris CCH versus Alex Myers.
Yeah, and of course, Chris CCH, always in that unfortunate position where you're the first person to play and the last person to play in the day. So, but, you know, the advantage of that now, though, is, you know, he's known it's been Alex Myers for a while. So, you know what? How much you want to bet right now? He's in online right now playing against some Filipino man, Chun-Li. You know, probably getting some of that practice in there. So, you know, it's
makes
always,
a lot of sense.
It's one of those advantages that you do have for being that guy who has to wait the longest. And honestly, one of the interesting twists to the transition to a lot of online events as well. You get this much easier ability to practice in between your matches.
Sure.
It's kind of interesting. So, a little different twist on the way that tournaments run. And you know, it's. I mean, as a person as old as I am, and seeing how we've gone from arcades to consoles to the stuff, it's fascinating for me. So I'll stop there.
No, you could
talk.
keep going.
You talk.
I
You
was
talk
gonna say
now.
I was already like deep into it. I'm like, yeah, go on. Yeah, I kind of know that era. I was like in between, right? I'm like,
Meanwhile,
right in the middle.
Mata and Dangadillas are like, can we start now,
No,
James?
I
Can
mean,
we start?
I think Mata Oha might have something to say about that. He is within our same age group. I should say.
Oh, yeah,
Dangadillas has
true,
been
true.
the youngin'. He doesn't care about any of that.
But as you see, again, PS Pad versus the Snackbox Micro, like it's just cool to see all the different kind of controllers being used out there. So
It's quite the evolution, actually. Evolution of peripherals being accessible to pretty much all groups of players, all types of players, and making it very, very convenient for everybody to find their play style. It's been very, very cool to see how it's pretty much transcended for the FGC. I remember back in the day, man, I'm going to sound old too. Back in the day when we first got introduced to the hitbox, we're like, what is this? What is this macro? What are you talking about? What is this?
and it's crazy too because like, you know, before it was just like, oh, you can't win unless you play with arcade sticks.
Yeah,
and
you're using a pad?
Yeah, you're
Schwartz?
crazy. You're limiting yourself, and then all these players on pads started winning, and then the hitbox came out, and people have all been saying stuff, you know, like hitbox, the snack box, like you need to this is the controller. Like, this is the controller to win. Even like Daigo has even transitioned to hitboxes and
Same
such.
with Akito. He has 2 sticks.
Does he?
Well, I mean, like, yeah, he has 2 sticks for certain occasions.
Oh,
right?
dang,
There was
okay,
that one
okay.
Red Bull Kumite event where
That's
he walked
right,
out with
that's
2
right.
different
Yeah,
sticks,
yeah.
right? So,
But I mean, even then, again, you know, I've seen people play, you know, on steering wheel controllers, and you know,
I've seen Idom play on a Guitar Hero controller.
dude,
yeah.
someone put a joystick into a body pillow, you know, and it worked.
I wouldn't be surprised if somebody brought a DDR pad to a major.
Dude, one of these days it's gonna happen.
I was gonna be
dude.
so hyped.
Yeah.
I would automatically root for that person. I know we're not supposed to be biased, but as soon as somebody whips out a DDR pad for a major, I'm sold.
Like one of the old plastic ones, you see him come
Oh,
out there
that'd
and
be-
unfolds it, you
Man.
know. Oh man,
That'd be
I
super
want
hype.
it to happen. I want it to happen now. But you know what? So does Mata Oha. He wants to move on right now. And you know, I know Dawson's in general have not liked this matchup in the past. But obviously last year Dawson became very, very strong. But it was one. Remember how I said Balrog was good against the meta, right? So he was really good at fighting Dhalsim and poisons, and so I feel like that's kind of one of the reasons why he was pretty strong last year, because Dhalsim and poison definitely kind of started to stand out as some of the strongest characters in the game.
Plus frames afterwards, Mata Oha pretty much in hot pursuit. Denka Diaz cannot take any more damage.
And you saw Denka Diaz.
Oh, too much!
Yeah, that's too high up. He's going to be able to get the juggle off of that, and there you go, Mata Oha taking the round. That's one of the hardest
Yeah,
things about those drills from these characters.
That angle was just way too far into Mata Oha's body, allowing for that easy punish.
All right, and now Mata Oha trying to get, remember I talked about in his matchup against Upchain, that distance that he wants to be at. You see him trying to fight for that distance, but again, Denka Diaz, you can see trying to walk back a little bit more, jump a few more. Look at that, fly in the air, teleport.
Yeah, and it's all just to reset the situation. He spent so many resources just trying to back away from Mata Oha, but the problem is it forces him into the corner now. Oh, I like that. So slippery.
Ooh, right when you said that too, and he finds his way out,
Oh
but
my
that's so
God, that
meaty.
was so meaty.
Oh god, that's that setup, and a good punish on the overhead. We saw what happened with Alex Myers versus Jot with blocking the overhead.
I was gonna say, man, Arby's was a couple of months ago.
And then Denka Diaz, of course, one of the best at using Dhalsim's V-Trigger too,
Oh.
but Mata Oha's not giving him an opportunity here to activate the second use. Dashes up with the 3-frame button. Mata Oha taking game number 1. I mentioned I wouldn't be surprised if the guys coming from the winner's side are the ones that can advance forward, but Mata Oha trying to buck that trend right now, taking the first game over Denka Diaz.
It's been very tough right now for Denka Diaz to maintain his positioning, or at least trying to get more of the momentum on his side, because I feel like once he gets the hits, he doesn't have any way to pursue afterwards, right? He's trying to play it off and then escape the clutches of Balrog, right? He doesn't want to
exactly.
maintain any sort of mid-range or close range, even after a knockdown. It's been really tough so far for the young man, and it's been way more beneficial for Mata Oha even after he's getting hit. Like, even though he's at a deficit, it's like, give it a couple of seconds, I'm going to corner you.
Now, Denka Diaz, I talked about that run that he had at the Last Chance qualifier, right? One of the characters that he used in that Last Chance qualifier was Blanca.
Don't say that. I didn't read his patch notes. Don't say that. I didn't get to read his patch notes. I just know that he got a gun. in a different game. That's all I know.
Okay, fair
That's
enough.
all I know. He got upgraded with a suit.
Fair enough.
The only patch I've seen from Blanca.
Oh man, but no character change. I was about to say maybe Denka Diaz was gonna go for it, dude. And it says maybe Denka Diaz up there. Maybe Denka Diaz was gonna switch to another character, but nope. He's sticking with the Dhalsim. Is going with V Skill 1 and V Trigger 1. But Mata Oha again showing why Balrog can be such a problem for Dhalsim. That dash punch is just such a problem to deal with.
Yeah. Being able to just close the gap like that. And look at that. You see Denka Diaz even trying to contest and see whether or not he was within range to punish the -4.
Right. And, you could say something like, oh, well, Dhalsim could slide under the dash punch, so why not just throw out like a light slide or something? If you're throwing out light slides willy-nilly trying to predict a dash punch, you're going to get whiff punished like you can't even imagine. It's just not that simple. Unless the Balrog player is very predictable on their dash punches, but that is definitely not Mata Oha.
That's
Yeah.
for sure. Denka Diaz has had a difficult time trying to keep up with the mess moves. that Mata Oha is using on offense, really, right? There are a couple of mix-ups that he had, opening up Denka Diaz, trying to get out of the way, and now he's back into this predicament. Ooh, that was a little deep. I feel like he could have maybe punished, but it was hard to tell.
Yeah.
He wanted to make sure either way, utilize that V reversal, and kept Denka Diaz in that corner. He didn't want to let go of that momentum, and it was good on him. Now he's on match point.
Yeah, but that V reversal was a key thing. I had noticed that in the last round. He is using that V reversal for offensive purposes. He's using it to keep this pressure going. So he's got a bar right now. You know he's gonna use it right away as soon as it looks like Denka Diaz is gonna get out of this situation. See right there, he used it for the V shift. He's trying to use that V meter to make sure he can keep the pressure going. Oh, and the crush is going to give him 2 V reversals available to himself now. Like I said, okay, get the drill and teleport out of there. I like that choice by Denka Diaz.
Definitely didn't want to be under any sort of pressure, any sort of normals. It's going to be just fine. Again, we talked about that earlier, right? Denka Diaz, although he'll get a hit, he'll have to back away immediately after. It's just not enough momentum on his side. Mata Oha needs 1 hit to eliminate the young man and move on. And so he does. Takes him down 2-0 with the dash punch. And that's been the bane of Dawson's existence, I feel like, for a very long time.
Yeah, since the advent of Street Fighter V starting up, you know, like I said, as strong as Dalsum ended up being last season, that was like one of the main story, like one of the top storylines. How the character, like when you looked at the first patch notes for that season, everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, Dalsum is done." And then it turned out that Dalsum was done with everybody else. Okay,
yeah,
he started dominating. We saw like Mr. Crimson Arturo beating up on everybody, but that was one of the reasons why Boxer also kind of came into prominence. I felt like a little bit too, because Boxer could fight Dalsum pretty decently, and we saw that here just now. Mata Oha eliminates Denka Diaz and moves on to the top 8.
And we traded one WNF sequence for another potential one with XSK and Mata Oha happening tomorrow, which is going to be pretty sick to see, but we're still not out of the woods just yet. We have 2 more matches to go, one of them being Hylix versus Flaquito, and this is going to be pretty tough too because they're also somewhat training partners, because I know they're still within the same group, the same buddy group with Filipino Man, Chris CCH. A lot of the Pacific Northwest cats have been pretty much mingling with the Southern California players for
and
quite
what's
some time.
I mean, it's funny that you say that too, because you know who else are training partners, part of that same group? Filipino Man and Chris CCH.
Yes.
And you know what? Filipino Man's Rose beat Chris CCH's Luke. And we have this situation now where Flaquito is going to be using Rose against Hylix's Luke. So
I like that.
You know,
I do like that a lot. We're starting to see that kind of trend, right?
yeah, and if what Filipino Man says that, you know, what's interesting is at that West Coast roast, I remember Flaquito fought against a Luke and he did not
It was
use
XSK's
Rose.
Luke,
Yeah,
and he used Sagat.
Right, exactly. Now, I wasn't sure if that was just him testing it out for CPT, for example. So maybe he will go with the Rose here versus Hylix's Luke. And again, if they are training partners, their character picks are going to be based off of weeks and weeks and weeks of knowledge that we haven't seen.
Yeah.
So, you know.
And it makes sense, too. I think going for the Sagat pick would be very interesting. You know, testing out the waters. And it would be against somebody he's practiced against before.
I mean, dude, we can come into this because these two have fought each other so much. We're going to come in here and we're going to see like Akira versus Blanca. We're going to be like, what is happening here?
I hope not. Because again, I didn't read the Blanca patch or the buffs or nerf stories. I really didn't. I'm not going to lie to you. I read Akira's.
Yeah.
Pretty cool, pretty interesting. Being able to use the other trigger.
trigger too.
Yeah, it's so cool. I've seen all of the
Yeah.
combos and I've seen all the extensions of damage. It's super. It's so fun to do.
Dude, even some players like Chris G was using V Trigger 2 even before the buffs. And
Yo,
now
he sure was.
And
yeah.
now he was just like, yo.
This is so sick. Yeah. I've definitely seen some of his highlights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, you know, interesting to see who they're gonna go with here. But you know, I'm gonna make the assumption that it is gonna be the Rose versus the Luke, especially if what Filipino Man says that he does feel like Rose does well. But again, that could just be Filipino Man's personal bias. You know,
Possibly.
See,
It's the Akuma
what?
coming in
Whoa.
from Hylix. Not even the Karen.
Wait, what happened? Okay, we've got ourselves a Street Fighter Alpha 1 matchup going over here. It's Akuma versus Rose.
Oh
look at
my!
that
That was
combo,
such
yeah.
a great whiff punish too.
Ooh, and a frame trap now as well. Close to stun. Gets the shimmy. Gets the throw whiff.
Not quite dead.
Yeah,
The
but
reset, though, will do it. Okay, I was going to say, if he threw him.
no, tried to go for another shimmy there. Highlex figured, you know what, if you're going to throw me, throw me. Let's see if he can make the comeback here.
Hylex actually thought he could try to interrupt, and that sequence is going to give Flakito a big offensive opportunity.
Well, close to stun, plus frames. That's why that V reversal was so smart. It was so much more valuable to get. Ooh. Oh! He had the bomb there. Oh my! You did not kill with the lights. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh.
Are you okay?
Watch out for the reflect.
This is so tough. One touch away. Watch out for the fireball. Oh, watch out for the critical art. Dead.
I didn't even see that. I didn't.
Yeah, it was a little bit too late for me. I thought he was going to go for the fireball. But yeah, no, I barely saw that critical art on the way over. I was like, uh-oh. But for Keto, I feel like he could have maybe used that EX bar for the anti-air grab.
Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
For the wall bounce and extend the combo.
Yeah, and I know she has new light paths, so when he did the crouching light kick ×3 and it didn't kill, I think if he had just gone for a different path, I think you can do like crouching light kick, crouching light punch, standing light punch, or something like that.
I think it's into standing light punch, but I might be wrong.
All the characters have like new 3 light paths. A lot of characters this patch got some new paths with that, and I love the non-quick rise from Hylex to avoid that mix-up. Oh, you're in the corner now. Never mind. You just got whiff punished, and Flakito tying it up 1-1.
And it's so interesting to see, by the way. Hylex, for one, using Akuma. Number 2, still sticking it with V-Trigger 1 and V-Skill 1. A lot of the changes that have happened for Akuma revolved around the usage of V-Skill 2 and V-Trigger 2.
Dude, V-Trigger 2 is crazy now. Dude.
It's so cool looking, yeah.
And V-Skill 2, actually, honestly.
Oh my god, I pressed 10 buttons in my head.
I definitely got opened up a bunch. Oh, man. Oh, he thought he had the whip punish. It was too late, but then Flakito drops his combo.
What happened?
Dude, we are getting some spaghetti here in this match, and that is the second time Hylex has just walked up with a back heavy punch. Oh, out there. Okay, and now Flakito needs that one tiny hit again. Watch out! Oh my goodness. That was a reflexive cry of watch out from me.
Oh my god.
Can he reflect some of these fireballs, or is it because they're multiple hits?
Oh my god!
No, it's not enough to kill, because some of the hits got absorbed. Okay, they're both at 0 health now. It is now next touch.
Oh my god. This is so close. The jump! Hylex knew it, and he even let the air fireball rip. He didn't even have to. He could have just landed and punished accordingly. But my man was like, shoot the J. Shoot it.
Oh, man. So Hylex taking the first game. He just had the victory over White Gun, and the Akuma pick working out, although barely. Obviously down to the wire in 2 of these rounds.
I think there's certain moments where Flakito shouldn't have taken the L.
Yeah.
I mean, there were certain moments where he could have optimized the damage, I think, but I'd have to check it out myself.
Okay, good whiff punish from Hylex. Trying to keep the pressure going with that whiffed Tatsu. Backs off a little bit, and you know, Rose is like, I have an air fireball too. Using that opportunity to activate the Soul Satellite. Nice! Caught him low with the slide. You always have to be careful with that once he has that orb out. Oh!
Man!
No hesitation, no fear. Just threw out the shawl just like that and took him out of the air.
I think that's what Hylex was looking for the last time when he jumped over the Soul Spark. Soul Spark.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't want to get hit by that exact sequence.
Oh, nice little parry on the fireball there. Made Flakito think he got hit, so Flakito went with the sweep, and that was blocked and was able to be punished. Ooh, okay, combo.
Very different story now. A whole different side of Flakito, really a little bit more aggressive here in neutral using that roundhouse. Trying to check Hylex.
Yeah, look at these. Both players are. Oh, God! Just let him throw out, plant the bomb, basically.
And that was after a stand heavy punch, too. Just outside of range.
Oh,
that Soul Satellite being able to continue the combo. Flakito knew it. Hylex knew it, and that's going to go all the way towards the next game. That was pretty far, actually. And the rotation of that soul satellite, you knew exactly when to utilize that slide and go for the combo.
And that's interesting, too, now that you mentioned it, because when you're fighting against him, if you see that soul satellite, you know kind of when they want to throw out that slide based off of where the orb is rotating. So you might even be able to use that as a tell, but that's just something you have to have practice in.
So far, yeah, all tied up here. I was just looking at the costumes, but I was more so looking at the background that they have. The newest, like, CPT stage.
With all the Capcom stuff back there.
Man, that stage is godlike. It is so sick. I have not stopped using that stage.
Really?
It's so cool.
Dang. Oh,
I definitely downloaded, like, or I made sure that I use it like my green screen and have that as the background every time I do like Street Fighter 5 stuff. I'm like, man, this thing is so
smart.
Sick. It's so cool.
It's so smart.
I love that thing. But either way,
I have to steal your tag.
You should. It's a sick stage. Either way. So as we see it right now, Hylex may potentially change over
to Luke now,
right?
Now,
yeah, right. We might see that happen. No, it's gonna be the Akuma still.
Okay, and sticking with the same skill and trigger as well. So interesting.
That I'm not as surprised with.
Right? Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, maybe he just needed that time to just kind of like gather himself and to think a little bit, try to hit up his buddies in the Discord and be like, "What should I do? What should I do?"
He's probably in the same Discord as Flakito. He's like, "Hey man, back off, brother." They're in the same voice chat right now.
Yeah, they're talking smack to each other over the Discord call right now.
Flakito would never. He's too nice for that. Really.
Oh man. Well, I mean, it doesn't matter how nice you are outside of the game, as long as you are a jerk inside the game. That's
he wants
the key.
to find a way to annoy you the way that he wants to. Exactly. That's literally the words I use to describe Flakito, and I'll tell you what, you can ask him that yourself next time you see him.
See, that's the thing, is when you're so nice all the time, you have all this jerkery that you need to let out at some way. And that's what Flakito is doing right here. He's like, you know what? I'm so nice all the time. I need to just be a jerk in game, and now he is at match point.
Yeah, you see that EX anti-air, right? I think you could have done that in that previous game. We've seen the potential damage you get afterwards, so Flakito being able to end the round with that, with the amount of damage, is so good for Rose to get these consistent ways of landing this damage, of getting these Oki situations now too, so very, very nice to see.
Yeah, and Flakito's been doing really well with that standing, what is it, back heavy kick? I can never remember which way is which, because it's definitely backwards what I think it is, and so now I can never remember which
is it just
which.
Like the... hold on, wait a minute. Not quite dead.
Oh, okay. Flakito now has an opportunity here.
Set up, V-shift, out of there.
I
Hylex.
love that V-shift.
Yeah,
so
smart.
Oh my
God.
goodness! He just walked for 10 miles.
Did you see how much damage Hylex just took after that also?
Dude, he would walk 1,000 miles just to be the man to throw you to death, dude.
I wouldn't be surprised if you walked 1,000 more.
Oh!
Just like that. He was still paying attention to the fireball. This guy, Hylex, got the reactions.
Nice reaction. Final game, final round here between these two competitors.
Man, I love this game. It's so sick.
Oh, what a confirm. Single hit confirm there. We were talking about that before the tournament started. You know, single hit confirms being such an important part of this game now.
Yeah, we had a full-on conversation about that. That is forward medium kick, by the way.
Okay. No, because heavy kick, the one that looks like it goes forward is back, and the one that goes back looks like it's forward.
Hell, I'm dead.
Oh, doesn't matter. Back and forth for Flakito and Hylex, but Flakito is going to be the one to take it after taking round one, losing round two, and then taking round three.
That was actually pretty impressive. I feel like that round was... It
dominating.
went by pretty quickly.
Yeah. It was dominating right there. So Flakito is going to indeed move on, and so we only have one match left. But again, these are all the players coming from the winner's side, except, unfortunately, for Denka Diaz so far. Alex Myers is going to be trying to take the Mata Oha route and get an upset on Chris CCH. Remember, Brian F. called Chris CCH the new American hope here in terms of taking down all the foreign players, but here he is in the loser's bracket, having gone down to, admittedly, his training partner, Filipino man, who is one of the best, and again, has the historically longest EVO run in the history of EVO, because I think it was like the year of like thousands, like 2,000 or
It was the
3,000.
last year of Street Fighter 4.
Yeah, it was like one of those like years where there was like thousands of players, and he lost in the first round, and then got into 9th place.
And he took out so many names on the way over, an historic route. But I'll tell you what, right now, again, Fakito rocking that Rose against Hylex, pretty much not under the tutelage of Filipino Man. I think they're pretty much on equal footing when it comes to how they've established their own Rose play, to be honest. It's really refreshing to see it. And the same could be said for Hylex. I didn't even know he was rocking that Akuma the way that he's been doing, actually. It was very surprising. I thought he'd be Luke all the way. But it comes down to what we were saying earlier about being training partners, right? It's like, do you have it in you to play this character Luke when Fakito has been training against it with the likes of Chris CCH, maybe even Hylex in first attempts as well. It's been very tough to even make that kind of decision. But to be fair, Hylex actually did a pretty damn good job with that Akuma, bringing it down to last round.
But again, with Hylex going with the Akuma against Fakito, just all comes back. And, I don't mean to belabor the point, but, Filipino Man saying that Rose can fight Luke pretty well. And the only reason why I keep bringing it up is because a lot of people have been talking about, like, you have to play Luke in this season in order to. But, I mean, again, just the way the characters are panning out, man. Like, every time we say that, I mean, look at the first season of Street Fighter 4. Sagat was clearly the best character, and he never won anything, Because the thing is, the stronger your character becomes, the weird part about it is the more experience everybody gets into fighting that character.
Yeah, and on top of that point, every other character got significantly buffed. Or like, handful of characters got significantly buffed. Let me rephrase. Let me put an asterisk on that again. But no, it's very important to highlight that, right? Everybody's already had that kind of radar honed in on Luke because of how powerful he was in the previous season. A lot of the players were starting to convert to that character. But as it stands right now, we just got rid of one potential Luke, right? We might have to see it again through ways of Alex Myers and Chris CCH. The point is, I don't know what that was, but the point is, I was sitting still the whole time. I don't know what that was.
What have I done? What have I done?
That was not me.
I am knocking over equipment here. I'm
what
sorry.
happened? I don't know what happened. I'll tell
sorry.
you what. Chris CCH versus Alex Myers is coming our way. Luke versus Chun-Li. So I'm pretty sure
20
this
years
is
young, dude. Man.
It's still bodying most of the competition. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, in the U.S., it's been a pretty standard situation where the youth continue to. I mean, like, it's interesting because in Japan, it hasn't been the case. Kawano and Higuchi are really starting to rear their ugly heads, but for the longest of time, it was the veterans who were always winning, right? So now the youth in Japan is finally starting to take over. But in the U.S., it's really the youth has always been, continually showing up. And in fact, Alex Myers at one point was one of those youthful players, who was showing up the veterans, but now he is the vet trying to take on the newer generation.
He's like he's a funky in between place.
Yeah,
right.
Dude, anyone who's been playing Street Fighter 4 during the beginning of Street Fighter 4 is a veteran right now. Like, honestly, it's just, I know, I'm sorry, it's the truth. Okay, you're a veteran now. Oh, Jeremy.
Nobody will ever know that. Either way. Myers versus Chris CCH, Chun-Li versus Luke. Will we see another Luke advance towards the top 8? Will we have someone with the ways of Alex Myers and Chun-Li have something to say about it?
Yeah, as we mentioned the last time we saw these two going up against each other is when Alex was fighting against Jot. Chun-Li, good normals, might be able to help him fight against Chris CCH. But again, Jot's Luke definitely did better than the Manat.
Up until that Avenger.
Right, exactly.
Will Chris CCH be the Avenger for his fellow Pacific Northwesterner?
God, it's so fast. And a lot of it, I mean, it has startup frames, right? It's like when you look at the frame data, you're like, why is it so unreactable? Because the startup of the animation is really hard to discern.
Yeah, he can fake it out with a back medium punch, make it look like it's the startup of the fireball, right? Roundhouse after that. What an interruption, too. Yeah, I think Chris has to delay that roundhouse, but I can't tell either way. The flash knuckle, or excuse me, the medium knuckle from Chris CCH raw. We've seen that a lot of times against Filipino men. where he actually got that whip punish. What a buffer.
Standing light kick, dude. That was like the classic Laura's from like season 2 or 3 when I think it was Gustavo was always using that standing light kick buffer.
And that's that's one of the buffs you got too. That standing medium punch being further out to get consistent conversions.
Yeah, and that target combo was so good.
You could have done it again if you wanted to.
What the heck? Chris CCH just said, you know what? Let's go.
I like that.
Build the meter for the EX uppercut and spend it. Chris CCH trying to get back into the top 8 right now. Well, just trying to get into the top 8 after being knocked down to loser's bracket by Filipino Man. Again, probably one of the main favorites to take this. But again, that just tells you how much this player has ascended in terms of people's expectations. To say that you're a favorite with a bracket that has Nephew, that has JB, that has XSK, that has Filipino Man. You know, to say that Chris CCH might be your favorite to take the event, like I said, that is a sign of ascendancy.
I feel like some people that are in the know with the West Coast might have even said, you know, Filipino Man might be the one to actually take it himself.
Yeah. Because again, Filipino Man, we haven't seen much of him, but he's never stopped playing. He's always just been kind of in there in the background, kind of hiding. And, you know, he definitely has a lot more reason, I think, to go in and play a lot stronger because he's not only just obviously one of the best, but this group, he is such a good training partner for a lot of these guys right now.
Chris CCH especially, right, having that experience against Chun-Li specifically.
Yep. Like I said, they might have been playing this match. They might have been playing this matchup to death during that
even
little
before,
break.
like even last season, right? This is a matchup that Chris CCH is definitely familiar with, right? We're starting to see it already at match point, pretty much dictating the pace against Alex Myers.
EX gets the free juggle, the corner carry, plus oh, okay. Alex Myers says, you know what, I'm going after you. Gets the back throw to try to push him in the corner. Unfortunately, Chun-Li builds a lot of distance on that back throw.
Oh, and that was the counter hit too off of the medium punch or the special normal. Still gets EX lives no matter what. Yikes.
He's gonna do it. Yep.
That's new.
Okay. Yep. Keeps it
Oh,
safe.
oh, I thought there was gonna be enough time to get around it.
And here we go. Alex trying to get aggressive over here. Of course, raw activation of the Kikosho is plus, but every subsequent minus. He's still sitting on that meter. Oh,
the flash knuckle!
He just did it
Oh
raw.
my God, that is the move that actually put Chris CCH down into losers, but instead it worked in his favor. Alex Myers has been shooketh out of the tournament because of the fact that Chris CCH is a madman with that flash knuckle. That was so sick.
Dang. And again, remember, we saw Alex Myers basically barely survive Jot's Luke. Just blocking that single overhead, the Avenger, and coming through in that round. But Chris CCH not going to give him any of that. And now we have our losers bracket all set up over here. As you can see, it is going to be XSK versus Mata Oha. And again, a classic WNF matchup here, as well as Flaquito versus Chris CCH in terms of the online WNF. These two have definitely fought each other. And then, of course, these two have fought each other just
a bunch of times,
sessions
right?
forever. Yeah, exactly. So there you go. That's the loser side. And don't forget, on the winner side of the bracket, we do have set up for you guys Filipino Man going up against Mortzy.
Let's go. Fong versus Rose to start out the day tomorrow. I'm about it. Then you have another classic with Nephew and JB.
Yeah, these two have played each other all over the place, and two of the people who have been super consistent here in the West Coast. Of course, you know, JB is a transplant from the New York scene.
Nephew also technically a transplant to the West Coast.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. That's right. And so, you know, both of them here being mainstays in a lot of the events out here for a very long time. So, again, look, it started off the top 8, like literally the winner's side. You see on the winner's quarterfinal side over there, the only player was Denka Diaz, who did not make it, was replaced by Mata Oha. But Mata Oha also been a player in the mix of all of this for a very long time as well. So again, that top 8 right there, when I said it was like the who's who of the West Coast, that's still the top 8 right here. You know, I mean, I should say the top winner's side of the 16 bracket. And now the top 8 is still mostly those guys. So
yeah, and it's just barely scratching the surface, right? We have still so much to go through when it comes to all of these events. We just started the season off again. I feel like we were in hibernation for so long.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, man. But, you know, obviously we're going to try to give a few final thoughts. But before that, also just want to one more time give a shout outs to Street Fighter Duel. That is coming out soon, globally soon. Currently is available in China, and I feel like a few other Asia regions. I remember at the end of last year, it mentioned that they had come out in a few other regions as well. But it is an officially Capcom authorized mobile game, and as I said, available in China. And this will be available for mobile. So make sure, keep an eye out for this. You see the QR code there. You can visit the website for everything there. But join the fight with millions of players out there to become the best fighter in Street Fighter Duel.
And you could potentially do the same here in Street Fighter V. If you guys have been enjoying yourselves and tuning in to the entirety of this event so far, we still have the top 8 tomorrow as well. We've already established who's going to be doing what for tomorrow. But at the same time, we want to remind you guys at home that the next CPT online event takes place in the UK/Ireland region next weekend. Registration is currently open and closes soon, so don't miss your chance to compete in this year's CPT. And then after that event concludes, we're still going to have another event happening with France, Spain, and Portugal. And even after that, after Combo Breaker weekend, of course, we have North America, Midwest. Registration is currently active here. You see the tournament schedule. You do not want to miss it, especially if you're from the UK and Ireland. And of course, the registration period opening up with France, Spain, and Portugal. You do not want to miss your opportunity because again, there's only one spot for these regions. There are 19 regions total for the online CPTs. You do not want to miss your chance for that final Capcom Cup for Street Fighter V.
Yep. But again, we will be returned right after this short break here to talk a little bit, recap what has went down with the top 16 and preview the top 8 tomorrow. Don't go anywhere. Be right back.
Time to fight. Time to fight. Never give up, we won't retreat. The ones who stand have turned defeat. So fight. Time to fight. Glory waits for those who fight. We unite, we are street fighters.
If I go too far, please forgive me.
My name is Seth. Bow down for my sight.
It's time for trap.
Show me everything. Download.
This will do.
Away with you. Ultimate Psycho Russia. See what I'm really made of. I'll settle this. It's the end. Let's go. The finale. You can't escape.
I go too far, please forgive me. Job well done. Yay me! This will do. Let's go, brother!
And we have our top 8 established for tomorrow. This is, of course, the only chance for qualification from NA West. And it's going to be a good one. Once again, myself, James Chen, and Vicious here, recapping what has gone down today. What did you think of the top 16?
First of all, I'd like to take a look at the bracket and how it all transpired. If we can pull that up, please. Swoop. Nice. Good timing. So, as we can see, it was a pretty consistent sweep throughout the entirety of the winners quarterfinals, right? A big surprise, Filipino man 2-0. And I say it's a surprise because it was a very convincing 2-0. I feel like there wasn't a lot of rounds that Chris CCH took against Filipino man. But yeah, moving on to Morty and Flaquito 2-0. Nephew versus Dangadillas 2-1, where Nephew was about to fall short. He was actually pretty much losing to Dangadillas up until match point.
Yeah.
And then made that huge comeback. And then JB getting his own sweep as well, 2-0. Out of this entire set from the quarterfinals, the biggest match, or the match that stood out to me the most, was Filipino man and his aggression. Right? We got to see that offensive capability and the way that he wants to play Rose really come to fruition in this version of the game against a powerhouse like Luke and a powerhouse like Chris CCH. I think that was the most outstanding match in my mind for the winners portion of top 16.
Right. It's kind of unfortunate because, you know, Filipino man in Street Fighter 4 gained reputation for close medium kick and the backdash king, right? Like
The backdash king.
And, you know, it kind of obfuscated just how smart of a player this guy really is. And, you know, a lot of people, I mean, obviously there are people out there who are aware of just how good he is at fighting games. But, you know, this is a guy who just has this, he's just really talented. And, to see how well he played against Chris CCH, he's one of those players that when he starts talking about strategy and stuff, and why I say he's such a good coach and training partner for a lot of these guys is because he analyzes it. And, the way he talks about things is just, it's very, very analytical. And he's very smart, and the intuitions that he has is very strong. And so, like I said, him telling me that he feels like Rose beats Luke, we saw it right here. And
pretty convincingly, too.
2-0 takes it that way. And it's so much to the point that Hylex didn't even want to play Luke versus Flaquito in the loser side of the bracket.
And we saw Chris as pretty much the number one prospect in Brian F's eyes during No Neutral, right? Rob TV had asked him the question, who do you think would take it all the way? And Brian F was pretty much, Chris CCH is one of those cats that would pretty much go all the way, if not in an online qualifier, maybe at a world stage like EVO. But as it stands, Chris CCH still has the target on his back throughout the entirety of this top 16, right?
And it's actually kind of unfortunate that he did run into Filipino Man a little bit earlier. Had he been, had the brackets fallen in a different place, we would probably be talking about Chris CCH in top 8 and how he's still the favorite and, he seems to be the last U.S. hope, as Brian F. put it.
Yeah, and then you flip the story, right? If you go to the losers bracket, he still makes it into top 8 just through a different avenue, right? He had to switch lanes a little bit and face off against Alex Myers. We're going to go in reverse order a little bit, right? Then you see Flaquito versus Hylex and how that went down. That's going to be a very interesting matchup right off the bat, right? Flaquito versus Chris CCH going into top 8. Again, training partners, yet again, having their fated duel in the loser's side, though. XSK Samurai taking down Cuz Lightyear, and Dankadias falling short to Mata Oha again. 2-0. Actually, I don't know the current record within those two, but I do know that they've played 1.5 million games together. Right? But even beforehand, instead of even looking at round 2, I guess we can.
I want to obviously talk about round 1 a little bit too, because obviously Prototype, Upchain, White Gun, Jot. Shout outs to all of them for making you here into the top 16 as well.
Especially Jot. He literally had it off of his entire run against Alex Myers.
Jot's like, can you guys stop talking about that?
I'm sorry, man. Hey, he had a fantastic run. Then he went for the dun, 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 dun. He went for the wrong Avenger.
Man, and unfortunately, cost him in the end after the punish, and then Alex Myers with a beautiful read on the V shift, got the crush counter and was able to take that round. And then Jot second guessing himself and moving to Manat, and that did not pay off at all. But again, I love seeing the kind of character variety we have. We have Prototype with the Alex up here, Cuz Lightyear and White Gun with the Ibukis up here, Upchain with the Birdie, and these are some characters that we haven't seen as much recently, and it's cool to see that kind of variety panning out here. And even a character, we're talking about Rose, it's already just assumed that she's one of the best characters in the game right now. But when she first dropped, she was, a lot of people felt that she didn't underwhelming, exactly. And now here she is. We've got 2 representatives using this character in top 8, and she's really strong. She is a really, really solid character, but again, not in a way that I feel like is overly oppressive, like overly dominating.
Sure. I think a couple of honorable mentions here. I did appreciate the fact that Cuz Lightyear and Prototype are showcasing characters that have received pretty significant buffs and didn't really see the light of day from previous seasons. I think Prototype still has a long way ahead, despite it being the last year of competitive Street Fighter V for at least the CPT, right? And this being the only qualifier online, there still may be other avenues, right? We still have offline events coming up very, very soon. I would love to see how he progresses. Same with Cuz Lightyear. I think the way that he performed with Ibuki today was pretty spectacular. He fell short to someone like XSK, right? It's nothing to shake a stick at.
Right.
And the way that he went down was via throws. I think, just a slight tune-up to his defense, I think he would have had it in the bag, to be honest with you. He was putting XSK on ice for a good amount of that time up until he got exposed with throws.
Right, exactly. And, you mentioned combo breakers coming up soon. CEO will be coming up after that.
And then Evo.
Of course, Evo is showing up. And, obviously we're still waiting for more details from Capcom side, but we will be getting, also these World Warrior events and such. And so there's a lot of opportunity to still shine for a lot of these players, even if you don't make it in one of these official CPT events, there's going to be a lot of different ways to still try to qualify. And so, these players here, even though NA West happens to go first, even though you don't make it out of the top 16 here, there's still reason to keep playing, to keep practicing, and
of course,
find your way into the Capcom Cup through other means.
Yeah. In the meantime, we are going to transfer over to the top 8 and who we actually have now from the winner's side. Filipino Man going up against Morty. That's going to be, I almost said Morty. Morty, that's going to be Rose versus Fong. Then Nephew versus JB. That's going to be Colleen, potentially, versus Rashid. Then down below, all of the killers still remain. Chris CCH versus Fakito. Mata Oha versus XSK. Again, Chris CCH rocking that Luke. Fakito with that newfound Rose and a pretty much, I guess, a renewed lease on competitive Street Fighting.
Yeah, and you know what? It's fair. I think it's important to mention as well, on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, it's great to see Nephew and JB in this top 8 using 2 characters who did receive some nerfs, and again, they got nerfs, but obviously not in a way that these characters are now considered weak, right? They're still pretty strong and still capable of getting you to the top 8 winner side of a stacked bracket. So again,
there's a lot of stories, by the way, going into this top 8 entirely, right?
And last year, like I said, we kept talking about how much we were excited for how Street Fighter V was going to look, but at this point in time, I honestly feel like this is probably the best that this game has been in terms of a state of balance and variety and the ability for players to showcase, their cohesion with their characters.
Shout out to the balance team, by the way, doing a fantastic job. Again, we're starting to see that diversity. We see the top 8 established. I got to ask you, James, your final thoughts on this. Who do you have your eye on the most, or at least which matchup going into it right off the bat?
Man, after all this talk about, Chris CCH and all this stuff and his crew and everything like that, be really interesting. I'm really looking at that Nephew versus JB portion of the bracket.
That was a big 180. You threw me off so bad.
No, because like I said, we were talking about all them, but Nephew and JB have been so dominant for so long. I feel like maybe they're kind of enjoying this little bit of hidden kind of
I'm actually really surprised you picked that, because I was somewhat thinking the same thing. Like, as much as I want to see whoever progresses between Filipino Man and Mortzy, the fact of the matter is they still have to face someone like Nephew and or JB afterwards.
Exactly.
That's going to be pretty big, because those are the 2 names, or at least Nephew is definitely one of the names we've seen consistently in the top 8. I believe one of the fun facts he put on, the player questionnaire is hey, I've won 4 out of 4 of these.
No, exactly. Because literally last year, the year before that, it was Nephew, right? And his main rival was XSK for the longest of time. Now, obviously, there's more people in the mix here, but Nephew is still, honestly, he's the one to beat right now. And so, at this point in time, just because a lot of these other guys are kind of showing how strong they are, Nephew is still the one to beat, in my opinion.
So the storyline here is who's going to take down Nephew, right? We've seen someone who has been his kryptonite for other events through the ways of Chris CCH, but the fact of the matter is he's down in the sharks below first.
Exactly.
We'll see how it plays out. It's a very exciting top 8 in terms of the stories as well as character diversity, right? We only see now 2 Lukes so far, but the rest pretty damn exciting, right? You have Rose, Fong, Colleen, Rashid, then Luke, another Rose, by the way.
Right, 2
and then
Roses.
Balrog and another Luke. So it's going to be something you do not want to miss. It's going to be the same time tomorrow, just in case. If you guys haven't been following along, be sure to do so. If you happen to miss the VODs or happen to miss the stream, be sure to check out the VODs on all streaming platforms over at Capcom Fighters, and follow Capcom Fighters on all social media platforms to stay in tune. And if, hey, maybe you don't have any of that, you just want to do it the old-fashioned way, CapcomProTour.com/schedule to check out everything you need in terms of the information for the Capcom Pro Tour this year.
Yeah, but as for today, that'll be it from us. Again, top 8 tomorrow, same time. You do not want to miss it, but until then, see you guys later, and have a good day.
Fighting at max capacity. Dang, that's a conversion. If I ever see one with the side switch, that was a medium
jump attack to hit low enough.
Counter hit does get a conversion with the standing heavy punch afterwards. A big tech from Fakito. Just about even the activation raw from Fakito. And he gets the conversion as well off of the Soul Spark.
I love that.
A little bit nervous there.
No! But not a huge
Oh,
He'll absolutely take this, but Samurai's got to make sure he doesn't get...
Actually, is a throw away from taking it against SSK. Do not get thrown. And that's it. That's going to be it. Oh, red whisk! And that JB
Right.
is still out of the situation. He's picking up. He put Prototype in a different situation. Go reset.
Go again.
On the side. Well, he just steals away all the momentum, but this is going to be great. Up chain now. Speaking of momentum, he's...
Okay.
I was going to say, maybe EX can grab.
He's
The
just gonna...
overhead's not enough. He tries to do it again, but out of range. But the Oha is...
It doesn't recover as quickly as it used to.
Yeah, it's significantly slower. Right? But if he lands the hit,
Oh, now it's just a tight.
Oh, the
What a
overhead
block!
is blocked!
Why would you go for that kind of a risk?
why not, James? Why not?
Oh, and that's gonna...
EX kunai
Oh,
is it?
yeah, beautiful. And look at that, the bomb juggling out of the air is more just for offensive purposes. He's using it to keep this pressure going. So he's got a bar right now. You know to activate the Soul Satellite. Nice! Caught him low with the slide. You always have to be careful with that. Once he has that orb out, minus. He's still sitting on that meter. Oh, no!